Greetings, traveler. You've just landed on the Mikey and Me podcast. But fear not, for this is no mistake. No glitch in the matrix, no fault in the stars. No, I'm afraid this has all been planned, predetermined by powers known not to us. So pull up a chair and join us as we find our way together, for you are among friends. Hello, friends.
Hello, friends.
And pugs. Everybody
Friends,
here.
Pugs, such
Wow.
a warm,
Thank you all for
welcoming
joining us.
place.
All of us in the room and all of you in the digital realm.
Yeah, no, you make my home feel like a whole new. It's like leveling up my home when you guys are here. It's like a temporary level up, just the home experience.
You level
and
my
emotion.
life up.
Oh, goodness gracious, Mike.
You know what I mean? My life's leveled
that's
up.
incredibly beautiful.
You've gifted me love, my whole family, with this pug. It's incredible.
Telling somebody that might be like, that should be in a card, but that's like
incredible.
It's a pretty amazing way to compliment and.
Well, it's true.
But it's a great description.
It's the truth.
Analogy. It's like, now, dude, life ain't no game. It's the truth.
It is
yeah,
the
man.
truth.
It's good to see you.
I deal in facts.
Yeah,
and speaking of dealing in facts,
pardon. Let me do this now.
it's a little bit of a damp one out there tonight.
Thank you.
It's 57 degrees. It's a little damp. It feels nice. I'm wearing shorts and a bucket hat. I'm ready for the beach. You could say.
I don't know about that, man.
For me, it feels wonderful. But it is a bit of a damp one out there, so be safe if you're driving. If you're in Dallas, Texas, we've got a low of 54 and a high of 62. Right now, we're sitting at 57.
Ooh.
So again, Louisiana, where our good buddy Jeff is, it's a nice 66, a crisp 66.
We love you, Jeff.
And it is rainy though. They're under a tornado watch, so we're sending love out there Jeff's way, and all of our people out there in the bayou. Much love.
Oh, much love indeed.
Yes.
And yeah,
we have an interesting night tonight, don't we?
Yeah. We got a lot to get into. I'm gonna possibly test the limits of how long I can have you guys sitting here.
Oh, that'd be great.
We'll see. I don't know.
Interesting.
We'll play it by ear. I'm just putting that out there. I don't even know. But yeah, we got the pugs going on.
This is pug fight number 1 of the night. We're gonna see how many. We'll have a pug fight counter maybe on this episode. That'd be cool.
No, seriously, yeah.
This is pug fight number 1. They'll go start resting a little bit.
The VIP section of our website should be coming out in the next week or so. You might have just be nothing but hardcore pug content. And just be like, oh, I'm scouring all my videos to just look for a random one and just put it on there. Like, yeah, guys, this is the prize.
Well, do we want to go ahead and see
so I just sent somebody an email. It'd be easier to just text it to them.
See if we can get a friend in here to join us and talk to us about something special they got going on.
I have honestly no idea what it's going to talk about. Oh,
yeah, and he's here. Look at that was so quick.
That's not who I was expecting.
That was quick.
Hello, sir. Can you hear us?
Can you hear us, Randall?
If not, hold on. Let's see.
I don't think you can.
Hear you?
Can you?
Oh snap!
Yeah, no, just hold on.
Thumbs up? No, thumbs down. Thumbs down.
Okay.
Thumbs down.
Mic consolidation.
It's usually on Matt's end. Just 1 second.
Normally it works.
It's like Daddy's watching football.
Because this is what happens.
This is what happened. Let me have it going to.
I'm gonna text.
Hello.
it. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Hello?
No, we can hear you.
Now.
Okay, you can hear us now?
Yeah, I had to switch my headset.
Cool. There we go.
Awesome.
So that's quick.
Oh,
All right, so
I work quickly.
we're now being joined by my brother-in-law Randall, who is he's got something pretty cool he's working on in the process of developing, and he was explaining it to me over Christmas, and I can only understand so much of it, being honest with you, but it's cool. And so I wanted to give him the opportunity to kind of explain it and help. I knew that this is something in your wheelhouse too, Matt, and you could probably
definitely
help him flesh out some of the, and just find it fascinating what he's talking about. So, Randall, whenever you want, take us away with what you're working on. What is it that you've been messing with that you were showing me?
Okay, yeah. So I've been creating a chatbot based on the YouTube content that you guys have been producing, and I've kind of like I've been in this AI realm for a while now, for the last few years, and so I was kind of exploring the whole idea of like an AI agent, and what it is, what it's going to become, and and so I got really interested in that side of it,
Right.
and started researching. And so there's this kind of this paradigm for some of these AI agents, chatbot specifically. It's called called RAG,
Oh yeah,
RAG.
retrieval
Heard
augmented
of that?
generation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
No.
So, I started looking into that, and trying to get an idea of what, how would you go about implementing something like that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's kind of what started the journey. And then,
Man, that's cool.
I wanted something kind of interesting to work on. And
Yeah.
so, I know that, like, I mean, I watch YouTube all the time, and my feed is full of videos of interviews and stuff like this. And I know, content creators, they have eventually, over time, they just have so much freaking,
Oh yeah.
video and audio and all this stuff. And it's like,
It's a
what
gold
would it be
mine.
like to aggregate all that
No.
Yeah.
and, put it in a chat bot and give a chat bot access to it.
Yeah.
And then, just go from there. So,
No. Yeah.
that's kind of what started the journey. And, like Mikey was saying, I was showing him this past weekend, and, it's kind of interesting. It does produce some interesting, like, results, with just the little bit that I've done,
Oh
so
yeah.
far. So,
Yeah, dude. No, it's.
Yeah. So what system is it that you use to develop this? Because I don't like because I'm interested to know how do you like did you what system did you use to develop the whole thing? Was it something? Did you program and code it all? Like.
so I'm using it's a frame, it's I don't know, like, what it's called, like, it's
Yeah,
a
you can
framework.
say that whatever the lingo and jargon is. Even if
Okay,
they don't get
all
it,
right, cool.
I'll probably get it, and then it could
Yeah.
help translate
Yeah.
it some. Yeah.
So Microsoft
Okay.
open sourced a framework that
Mm.
allows you
Yep.
to interact with these large language models, right?
Yeah, it's part of the
and so
whole
this
Copilot kind of, right?
right. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's what's behind Copilot. When you use Copilot in your browser, they're
Yep.
using their own internal framework, which is just a library of code, that you can use to interact with these models and do
Okay.
different
Yeah.
things with them. And so it's
Basically,
called
create agents, right? An agent
right,
framework or agentic.
right. It's
Yeah.
called semantic kernel. That's the name of it,
Okay.
and it's fully open source. So
Okay.
anybody you can Google it.
But it stems
You
from
can go to
Microsoft, so they're basically everything they have comes from OpenAI from their relationship, just to get an idea. So it would be kind of similar to like what
Similar.
OpenAI model has. I don't know if it'd be the most current, but that'd be like the one just
That's the one.
liken it to, at least as far as the capability and robustness of it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's actually using OpenAI. It's
Okay.
using ChatGPT.
It's doing an API call
it's-
to it. Yeah.
Right. So, you provide your code with the API key, for your OpenAI account, and on the back end, the code uses that to communicate with the LLM. So rather than going to a browser and typing in your message, the code is doing it and then sending it to the OpenAI, LLM for you.
Yeah. So if that
And
kind of answers what you're thinking.
Yeah. No, most definitely. Yeah, because I was just wondering, it's like, where did you start with it, and
Yeah.
how did you first develop this, and was
But
it
yeah,
all just sitting
basically
there?
what he's saying is also with Microsoft done. I mean, it's very recent, like what they've released, and that's kind of a lot of things I've talked about and brought up as I've been following it, as far as like the transformative and disruptive nature of it, talking about what they're about to roll out to teams, like our Microsoft has all this stuff. And so basically, and this is cool. This is actually seeing what that recent thing is empowering, an individual to do this sort of thing.
So
create it. But
yeah. So what he showed me, for example, is like he put what was it you say about you downloaded or put in 5 of our episodes that so far
transcripts, basically. That would be the fuel for it, right? Basically, the data.
Right. That's
using.
the data. I mean, that's the data part of it. So there's 3 parts to to what I've been working on. The first part is obviously getting the data and just scraping it off of YouTube, and then so that and I mean most of the code that I wrote for this, it came along with the help of ChatGPT, right?
Okay.
So
Yep.
these LLMs are so good at writing code. I mean, they're
Have you
so
messed with
fucking
Claude
good at
much?
it.
Because I've done
Yeah.
stuff with them.
I mean,
I've
the Claude,
gone back and
I go
forth.
back and forth. I go back and forth between Claude and OpenAI.
Yeah,
And
I
both
used
of
it to
them are
make
really good.
extensions and
So-
stuff too.
so-
It's crazy.
whenever these
Yeah.
things are
So-
writing these code, is at any point like do you have to go in and mess with them and kind of fine tune them, or are they pretty
Oh,
much
yeah.
good, or
You
what?
talking
like,
to them like a person is like they're spitting the code out, and you can now they have preview planes where you can literally see a lot of what's being done. You'd be like, oh no, actually I want it to be more like this, and just type it.
Yeah.
Or if you have a voice interface set up, it's so crazy.
So
it's
you
like you're talking
don't-
to a person.
Need to
Yeah,
learn to
and it's
code
so.
anymore?
I mean, it's
No.
so.
Yeah.
The
Well, that didn't
the
age
amount
well.
of like, it can produce. You tell it what to do. You give it an idea of what you want it to do. It produces like this long stack of code that the kind of the workflow is you kind of copy that, or the way I've been doing it, and there's all these other tools that are popping up to try and
See, VS Code or
streamline this.
Cursor or one of those two.
I use VS Code. I tried
Yeah.
to use Cursor.
Yeah.
There's with all these things, there's like a learning curve,
Yeah.
and I'm like, man, do I want to spend the time like actually building out what I'm doing, or do I want to learn just another one of these
Yeah, and,
IDEs
and the
or
capabilities that
whatever?
Cursor has is literally they have updates and plugins like VS Code to actually have OpenAI, and you can pick the model you talk to have it help you literally generate the code within like this software VS Code for actually creating
Right.
it all. It's
So what would you? So like I was saying, you've only put based on what you had shown me and like kind of the questions you asked. I did find it to be kind of impressive that you had said you had only uploaded like 5 episode transcripts or whatever.
Yeah, because
and
I
that
wanted to.
No, go ahead.
Sorry. I wanted to start pretty small, So
Yeah.
I've only gradually, kind of built up the number of episodes I have. I think I've only got I downloaded another one today because it takes a little while.
Yeah, dude.
to,
I need to send you all the because I actually started trying to do what you're doing now, like a little while ago, and create a chatbot, and I got so far with it, and then there's just a matter of how much time I could put into it. So I have a bunch of I did go through the process of actually getting or creating the transcripts for. So I think I have them for at least a couple, 2 or 3 of our seasons, like full transcripts. I've even I might have already prepped the file. Either way, I can give all that to you. So
Okay.
yeah, I
Yeah.
can definitely.
But you were saying you would kind of started small with it. Is there a reason for that? Did you have a reason behind that?
It's just like a proof of concept sort of deal. Like you
Okay.
want to, like in any sort of software engineering, like, they preach, fail quickly, do something, iterate on something,
yeah.
and then fail because you want to fail quickly so that where the next problem is pretty
Okay.
quickly. Right.
Yeah.
And so, the idea is you kind of like, you start small and you just kind of keep iterating, and gradually over time, because I mean, there's nothing fucking edgy about, software engineering, and like everything that
No.
you do is really, it's pretty difficult, as far as like getting it all to work in a robust way, or in a robust enough way for, I mean, somebody to actually want to spend their time using it, right?
Mhm.
A bunch
And
of
so,
trial and error.
that's the main reason. I just wanted to see if because a lot of it was a learning journey too, because I got being in this current position that I'm in, like 3 years as a software engineer right now, and like having all this AI stuff just come on the scene. I
Yeah.
taught myself Python about
And
5 years ago, and
It's
eventually
crazy
got this.
for it to all just be like all that effort, and it's almost like being able to separate emotionally. It's like, okay, it's at first you're frustrated, and like no one has to learn to code anymore, but then it's like, okay, now the beauty of it is you know how to talk to it and use it to actually get it to do. Because of that history, it still puts you in an advantage. It still gives you an advantage over just people getting in there like, oh, make a do this, make an app that does this. It'd be like, yeah, it can, but it's not going to do it at least right now as easy as they want. I think within a year, probably it'll be to where laymen can have zero effort. So yeah, and I've talked about, I think we're in a window, especially a window of opportunity for people like yourself who has enough knowledge to actually do the effort required to connect these pieces and the capabilities of what it is. And so I feel like, yeah, what you're doing is an example of that, it sounds like, for me.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's I got pretty concerned, like when
Yeah.
it just got so good at producing code, and I was like, well, what's going to happen next? 3 years down the road, I would, my current position as like a junior developer, it's definitely going to be, it's all going to be written by these LLMs
agents that
by
can
that time.
do it, whatever. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
So I was like thinking, well, I've got to, if anything, to be able to pivot, if something like that eventually happens or does occur to where, whatever, I'm just
you're ahead of
replaced
the
by
game
the
by
AI or
actually
whatever.
acting on that now.
Right. Because I want to know the ins and outs of this stuff, just so if it came down to it, maybe it'd make that pivot a little bit easier.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I'm living.
Yeah,
through,
you've talked about pretty much that's been one of your main motivations for wanting to learn and mess with it as well, is just because you want to be able to learn how to utilize it and take advantage of.
Yeah, you want to be ahead of the curve as much as you can. Because
no, and I agree. Yeah,
a lot of people's lives are gonna be just
a lot of shit just sneaks up on you. Like,
Yeah.
think about the guy that was lighting lamps, and then one day all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, man, yeah, you don't need to get up there on that ladder with that candle anymore."
No, yeah,
We have electricity now.
exactly.
He's like, he thought it was all gobbledygook when he heard
so
about light
I was kind of
bulbs.
curious about his. So your idea is, and I just automatically have whatever I imagine is what you. Because I do know a lot of social media people have like had chat bots and stuff created, but so it's kind of like you want to basically I using us as an example. Like, okay, I can create one, and this is like our guinea pig or whatever. We're it's a beautiful thing, and that's helping both of us, but it's helping you too, right? And to where you could offer this service or whatever to like any content creator, to where you could actually have like a setup to where you could just be like, oh, that's cool, I want that, and be like, okay, I can literally have this for your site, and you know how to have it created based on all their content, which is basically at this point all their transcripts being available. Is that kind of in your mind, or is that just what
Yeah, for sure. Like, I've kind of been like thinking like, how can I make this process so easy that, somebody would, either pay me to do it, or I could create some sort of like, like a sort of a software as a service, to be able to make it easy for content creators to, easily, like, like one example that, you might have talked about, Mikey, is like what I was talking about, like when you have multiple speakers in a particular video, it's really difficult to extract, the audio of a single individual out of there,
labels,
and label it, like that. And so that when a large language model looks at it, they're able to, see that, okay, it was this person that actually said exactly this.
Yeah, it's almost like we're camouflaged, and by doing that, you're uncamouflaging yourself to it.
Person, all the data is like
it's
it
hard
creates,
now
a
it
composite
understands that
of
it's
one
multiple.
person.
Yeah. Another thing,
and even the models that purport to be able to do this, automatically, like they say it's very easy to just upload an audio and it spits out this thing for you, but when you actually look at it,
how much they try and charge for the service and everything too.
Yeah.
What's been so far, like, what's been your kind of like roadblock you've hit or whatever? One of your biggest, like, hurdles to kind of get with this, like with the thing with what you're doing, or have you found one yet, or whatnot? Like, because I know you're still kind of, small with what you're doing. Like, you haven't necessarily, given it a whole lot of info.
So, you were kind of breaking up a little bit.
Hello?
Like, what was the question?
Yeah, I was saying, what's been like, is there like kind of a major roadblock in your way right now with it, in a sense of its understanding and comprehension and stuff? Like, what do you feel like would, and how do you feel like you're going to have to overcome that, or have you even figured that part out yet?
So, I mean, what my vision is, to be able to get good enough data to be able to say like, this transcript or this came from a particular person.
Right.
Because I think that would be very powerful.
Oh, definitely.
Because then you could, then you could get into like doing a lot with the LLM, focusing on like the personality of a person, how they talk, how that particular person talks in the content, and how that particular person likes to communicate. Maybe the different like sort of just things that we all naturally have, and I think the LLM can pick up on those things and make it a pretty like because that's the goal with all these like with these customer service chatbots that are going to be coming online with all these companies. They want to make it like as obviously they want to make it as like
as human as
relatable
possible, and basically ideally make it easy to basically make a replica. A view for the most part.
And I was gonna say, like, Randall, have you ever seen the show Devs?
I don't think so.
Oh,
okay,
no,
with Nick,
I've heard of
it Nick Offerman, and he the main guy?
Yeah, he's the main. Yeah, he's one of the main people.
But I feel like some of this is sort of on the teetering on the edge of that.
Radar for people. Yeah, I need to watch it.
Is it not somewhat teetering on the edge of it? Sort of.
Yeah,
in a different way.
Either way, you should watch it.
Yeah,
like however you take it, because it doesn't deal with AI in the same exact way, but it's more. Yeah, you should check it out. It's phenomenal.
Either way, yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting what you're talking about. The I guess kind of roadblock, or however you would call it, because I've been trying to think of a solution to make it easy for basically speaker late or having individuals separated their dialogue. So even for us, right? So I was thinking, okay, actually having separate, so it'd be for people doing it. It'd be smart it's on the front end. What you can do to actually make it so on the front end is like us recording now. So I can create separate audio tracks for each of us that captures all that. So basically, I can have all the transcript from this audio track is Matthew, and then all theirs there, and then I could just compile those into one file. Or if I even need to do, you don't even need to do that, probably, but either way, I could just have all that data on the front end already. Just okay, this is a full transcript of Matthew, isolated, just by recording it and having the separate audio tracks. So that's I meant to set that up now, but that's what I'm gonna start doing, just to make that, set that up to where everyone recording should actually start doing that, or some version of that. So then I'm thinking, I know how to kind of deal in front end, and I'm sure there'd be and it almost be like, okay, we could write the software, simple program that makes that process easy for podcasters or content creators who have no understand to where it's like, okay, here's a simple user interface to just create your separate audio tracks to where it just does that. So that's just kind of like brainstorming that kind of led to that.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of tracks with exactly what I was thinking. Looking at your content from just the perspective of being able to see it on YouTube, it's pretty limited, right? You can't really dig in obviously like you can from the front end. So how would that, what software do you use to do all your audio and video stuff?
Yeah, so I mean, right now is like what we're doing recording now. We're using OBS. It's the open source, free, pretty versatile but lightweight. you know, because I've messed around. I've got other software, I got other programs that I could be doing this through. But as far as this component and just how easy it is, so OBS I do a lot. So I'll use OBS to actually create the separate tracks. At least that's my goal. I haven't messed with enough, but I'm pretty sure it shouldn't be too difficult. So OBS is like the main for actually recording this sort of thing. If I'm doing screen rips or just anything, OBS, it's really easy to work with. And then whenever I do actual final production type stuff, I use Power Director, Cyberlink. It's pretty cheap. I mean, relatively, it's pretty, you know, robust. And the user layout and stuff is like, there's a template as far as if people use in like the Adobe offering, or there's other ones, but yeah, Cyberlink Power Director. So I use that for like final editing and a lot of stuff to actually, yeah, put out the final product. And yeah, I'm trying to think. Like those are the main, you know, softwares that I use or applications.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard of OBS. I've never heard of the other one, but I've done very little editing. You know.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
I
OBS, and I was familiar
really
with it
know.
already from streaming and like game streaming and stuff. So if you ever were into game stream, like trying to stream or on Twitch or doing stuff like that, OBS is because it's literally free, it's open source, and so I learned a lot about it from that world. And so that just it's my familiarity with it made it easy to start using it for anything else too. Yeah. So yeah, that's where we definitely need to connect and
for sure.
offline to just share and just brainstorm and just whatever I've learned and stuff I use that I could share, whatever I learned that might be useful to you, and vice versa. And
yeah, for sure.
Especially what you're trying to do, I think we could join forces.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm in a unique position that I need to. I'm just looking to try and just create and
get irons in many fires. You want to have a lot of irons in different fires. That's I like to speak in old terms. Medieval.
No, definitely.
Type terms.
We can go off the rails and be like, okay, what are they talking about for 20 minutes, right?
No, yeah, no.
It's good. So, I'll stop talking there.
No, you don't need to stop talking. So you were saying, too, that you want to – so would this in any way – like I followed pretty much what we were saying the whole time, but would this in any way be also like its own site as well or something? Like is that – so this could be – it's something that somebody could go to and almost – search, for instance, what would Jerry Garcia think about this or something? You know what I mean? Sort of or no?
Yeah. So it would be like a just a website. We could either integrate it to y'all's existing website or something like that.
Yeah,
or
like
you
using an API type call type thing to where it'd be easy to kind of connect to it. I don't know if you would actually have its own website, maybe just that's letting people know about it, and actually how cool it is, and it'd be like this could be the example what you created with us of what it can do. But then as far as if it's a product or software or SaaS,
I was going to say like selling like Windows 95.
Yeah, if monetizing it, it would literally probably I'm thinking be something that people will just build into their sites based on like all the code and stuff that he's doing. Right,
make it more
that's
sense.
what I have in my mind.
Yeah. So that's the idea. It would function as like it could. The great thing about like using kind of these open source frameworks, they allow you a lot of flexibility. So you could have it integrate with an existing website. You could also have it its own like standalone dedicated website. So
you could do all the above because it's literally. The cost of it is just a person dedicated to actually just doing it. It's the beauty of like this world.
Yeah, I was gonna say too. One thing that was interesting about it again, because like he had said, he had only put the 5 episodes in, and him and I were interacting with it, and he was showing me the front and the back end. And on the front end, he was showing me like it had kind of prompts at the top, like almost like how does Mikey handle life's hurdles or the changes of life or challenges of life.
Yeah.
And he clicked on that one like, as a prompt question, and then all of a sudden it came back, and the description it gave I immediately was like, yeah, okay, that's Matt, because it said with his daughter, like something
yeah.
about his daughter, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's not me.
Yeah, you almost
But
you
he
just
was
think of it as one person that's both of us. Yeah.
Well, and I was gonna say-
none of us know.
yeah. But what I thought was interesting is that with only those 5 episodes, that it was able to, already have a good enough idea to be able to pull that. And like he said, though, he hadn't said here, but he was telling me is that he just told it to assume it knew the difference.
Yeah.
It knew who it just assumed that it knew
let
who
it do its
Mikey
best
and
job
Matthew
of
was.
trying to sort that out.
But yeah, it kind of it like got us.
It does a pretty good job.
Mixed.
Just
But
with
either
that,
way
yeah.
of getting us mixed, the names mixed, the descriptions, and the kind of the ideas. It's like for only having 5 episodes in, it's like, oh wow, like it was already pretty.
Yeah, and
pretty
that part of it is
accurate.
really interesting. And the part that I find more interesting is like, you're not just thinking beyond, whenever it's sorted out, identifying the speakers or the people is great, but just how well it can actually just create, a person like a construct or whatever of how we actually would be, to where you ask it questions and the answers it gives to anything, it's probably be like, that's kind of the way I would do it, like doing a good job, and just how good and efficient and what they can do with actually just basically making what you could think of as like replicas of personalities. It's like people talk about uploading consciousness. It would be literally just like the transcripts that they could take text, if you take all this text mess, anything that you've said, and it could be minimal, and it's just seeing how well it can create a construct of you, and you would just test it by asking it things and get the responses and be like, that's impressive. How I feel like that aligns with what I think would be me, and just how little data that it's actually able to do that with.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's
Which
like
is
the whole
crazy.
name thing is like,
So
whatever.
just imagine if
but
you had intentional, like, gave it like an hour's worth of conversations to where it could literally
No, yeah,
probably make a mirror of
do
you, and to be like, damn,
It can do
you
it
know?
with as little as like 15 or 20 seconds of like.
Yeah, and it's just crazy. It just shows the power of in this.
What's been the
scary,
most like
cool power of it all?
What's been the most impressive thing to you about it? Has there been any surprising thing?
Yeah, like
Anything
a wow
that surprised
moment.
you?
There's been
for
multiple
sure.
probably, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I'm pretty fascinated by this stuff, to begin with. So it's not very easy to like, or it's not hard to like, impress me, because I
I've
kind
been
of
following it for
I've been-
long enough to see
Yeah,
like how
and I've been-
like watching a
s-
child grow up, and you're like, okay, but it's almost like thinking of it as a child, so you've seen it along the way. Like, is there a certain thing you're like, okay, dang, I'm very impressed by that, even knowing what you're capable of and all that.
Yeah, but like. the
Yeah,
child
yeah. I
is
mean,
the
it's
omen.
like it continues to fascinate me as far as like what is going to be capable or what's going to be possible. It's like the one thing that I really have found pretty cool is just the way that you can influence the response just by changing up the prompt that you give it, like.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the questions that
Power of words, and like literally just
yeah,
knowing the questions to ask, and just
right,
seeing the
right.
difference
And so
that does. Yeah.
Matt, have you ever used Perplexity
Yeah.
AI?
Yep. No, yeah.
Yeah.
That was like the first search engine one that. Yeah,
Right.
and it's already does amazing stuff with even purchasing, and most people don't know about it. Like, you create an account and like use it to like find the best and buy things, for you, like with that account. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know they've kind of gone in that direction, but it was just like,
Yeah, that's like, yeah, that was a bad thing. That's cool, but yeah, before that, it's crazy. So what were you gonna say? Sorry.
yeah. So like, I don't know. I guess it was, I don't know, several months back. I was using Perplexity, and they had these auto-generated questions that would scroll across the screen.
Yeah.
And I was like, what a, novel like way to spark somebody's interest, like, you go into the website, and rather than, it's kind of like the Google thing where you can do like, just something random,
Yeah.
you search for, but it's so much more like, to
The
me,
question you
it
might
was
ask,
so much
the
more
thing is.
engaging.
It's suggesting questions that if you haven't thought of them that you would think of.
Right.
They're the suggestions are that tailored, which is it's nuts.
Yeah. And so, one thing that I was like, I had that idea. I just wanted to kind of replicate, what Perplexity was doing with auto generating these questions, just because I was
Okay.
like, well, what's going to make, this chatbot interesting, and adding that little feature to where you actually, so what happens
Like
is
what he
that
talked about,
whenever I
yeah.
start up the application, it takes some of your content, just some random episode, and it goes ahead and it takes it in, and then based on that content, it generates like 5 questions, and I can, you can set it to however many you want, but it like generates, so I send it a prompt and it'll say, like, here's some transcript from this podcast. I want you to think closely about, what might some interesting questions be to
Yep.
ask, based on this content. And so that's what you see when what I showed you the other day, like when you open up the front end, the app, it gives you these questions that give you kind of like this starting, sort of ideas for, what the content is about, and, who's it about, and stuff like that. And so, that kind of, that being able to like, switch up that prompt in such a way to actually generate, because when I first started, or when I first made the prompt to generate those questions, it was just a very simple prompt, like, here's some transcript. I want you to create like 3 to 5 questions based on the content. I don't want them to be too long, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
so it's a very basic prompt. But then, the questions that I got back weren't interesting at all. Like, it was like, this is boring. And so by changing up the prompt a little bit and telling the LLM, like, well, this is a podcast. It has this person and this person in it. They're talking, very
In
informally.
natural
They have,
language, tell it
Yes.
as being as descriptive as possible, and the power of like,
Right.
and that's the whole goal. It's natural language, like everything being done in natural language to where that's. And it's cool because a lot of people, and it's initially just like, okay, I want you to make 5 questions, and we know in our minds we want them to be interesting and all that stuff, but to the LLM it's just like it just spits it out, but it's like, oh, realizing and just knowing the power of it to where it's like, wait, if I'm the more descriptive I am,
The more information you put
and
in, the more
not
information
not
you're
worrying
gonna get
about
out.
even how you structure it, like in before language models be like, okay, people would worry about how the data is formatted and there's an efficient way to structure the data. It's like, no, just literally talking to it. And I'll use a mic. I have set to my computer to where I don't even type stuff. I would just like have it fill out the field to where I can just like talk and just kind of brainstorm like we're talking now. And I could be like, hey, based on, I don't even have to say based on, but like, hey, yeah, we're just talking about all this stuff. Could you generate some questions, and it'd be just that easy, like that powerful. And it's crazy. Have you messed with Notebook much? It's good. So Google's product, because I use that a ton for like what we're doing with the podcast, to where it'll even like generate basically a natural conversation between 2 speakers. You could use an example. I guess it's to help. I guess the way they're showing it is like this could help people actually create content and like how to talk about it by having. But it's amazing, and it's so powerful to where like it does all the stuff you're talking about. It's like built into it to where like I'll just create sources in it, and you can create a source from text, or you can have videos, YouTube videos go directly into it, or websites, and it will just take all that and they'll have a suggestion of like you're saying like questions, but beyond that it'll even create briefing, facts, timeline, anything. Like it's crazy. You should definitely mess with it. And it's like it's a Google like offering where they actually have a ton of stuff that a lot of people don't know about. That's and that Notebook is like one of them. It's very powerful. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've heard things created by it, but I've never actually used it.
Yeah.
So, but I've heard really good things about it. That's pretty crazy because it actually generates audio, right?
Yeah. No, it
Like
does.
conversation, full on conversations.
Oh yeah. I've messed with it, so I gave it as little information as possible. I literally just like, and I showed my wife
It's like,
this,
I just sit in here
where
and
I
watch
just
it.
said, hey, my wife
For
Steph,
real. It just has
she's doing some
conversation
crazy
with it.
stuff. It's gonna change the world, and that's it. And it took that info, like the audio of that, and it knew that I was the male speaker, and it was like it created a 10-minute conversation with then it's like a male and a female voice talking, but having like a crazy dialogue talking about just that information, and they go off thinking it's like, I don't know, maybe maybe he's gonna come up with something that's tied to technology in some way and some application, but who knows? We don't know a lot, but we're really excited about it, and it has this crazy discourse it's nuts, and that's in. And I don't even, I just use it as an example to where it's like you could extract the audio and upload it, but that itself is cool as an example. But the power of it is like, it lets you know that it can help you like have those conversations and do things. But beyond like all the other stuff that it offers is like what I use. That's just like something it does that's like, you can just have it generate a conversation. Just be like, oh, and it'll just generate one, and it'll be I feel like they're longer based on however much data, the sources you have into it, to where if it's, I think it made a 5-minute conversation based on like a sentence that I gave it, to where if I let it use like all the stuff for our episode, I create, everything we're interested in researching. I have it as sources in there to where I could go in there and have it generate something. So yeah, it's nuts. I'm just going to have it doing it in the background just because it's cool.
now you're bringing AI into the chat. No, I'm kidding.
Dude, it's been. So what are you about to say though?
No, I was just gonna say, is there any way? Do you think it's if you upload this episode, do you think it's gonna recognize you and refer to you as you and not Randall? You know what I mean? Will it recognize and be like, oh, I heard you on this episode? You know what I mean? Would that be fucking nuts?
Dude,
Randall's like, what the fuck? He just starts smashing his computer with a hammer. He's like, I'm out.
No, I just gotta say my name over and over again.
Do you use
Randall,
ChatGPT regularly? Is that your main one? To where like I use it, it's like the main one. I'll experiment using all of them, and some are better. I feel like at certain things, but the overall offering with ChatGPT, and especially with O1 and O1 Pro coming out in Sora and all this stuff, that's the main one to use. So it has a lot of data on me, just the stuff I've asked, to where I've literally said, hey, tell me in a few paragraphs who I am and what you think of me. What are my strengths and weaknesses? And I'll do that, and it's insane how like spot on it is, and also at helping like you realize things to work on as a like individual like character flaw or just areas to improve. It's crazy. So you should ask it to be like, hey, tell me about myself and like some strengths and areas to possibly improve. And it's nuts, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty uncanny how like it picks up, or how it can pick up on different outlooks or worldview. Even the just by some the language that we use is actually very revealing. Obviously it's kind of what it proves, like that that language is so much of what's going on in our brains.
That's true.
It's like it's pretty telling that the fundamentalness of language, just the fact that we've been able to create these machines that can process language in pretty much the same way we do. I mean, not the same way, but to the same level of like comprehension and being able to use it. Obviously it's very different than what's going on in our brains, but it's a good enough replica to produce what it does. And just like it goes to show you just how much consciousness is in the language that we speak. But obviously it's not everything, because I kind of feel like the whole debate about the AGI, when are we going to get there, if we'll ever get there, blah blah blah.
And even like there's not a good definition of what even is that people would agree on. I feel like it's similar to where people can't even define what human consciousness is. Like we can't define that.
Right.
And I feel like that's the same. It's the same thing. Like, and I thoroughly believe, like, for my interpretation of it, that we're there and we've been there for a little while. But I guess if people want, a lot of people are gonna think of it just like the agentic nature of it and like how much it might just act on its own. And so yeah, it this again is the definition of what you think it is. So it's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the thing that I think about is I don't know. We're gonna have to do a lot more, I think, before we reach that level because the way I view it right now is like so this current level of LLMs is kind of a replace or it's replicating the language center of our brains like that the prefrontal cortex, um, but human beings, we also have the reptilian side of the brain
Mm-hmm.
that operates on an entirely different level. And I think that sort of combination of both like the reasoning of the cortex and then the reptilian emotional side of the brain, that's not been replicated in any way. It's not even close to being replicated in a
Well, yeah,
computer. The computer right now is replicating the reasoning portion of our brain, and yeah, it can
my
talk in
theory is
emotional
the
terms.
black box nature
But-
of how it's even happening is a version, I think, of that.
Well,
A version. I'm not saying it's the same thing, but just how LLMs are black box. We've learned giving it compute and training, it gets better, so we know how to grow it. But that's, I guess, the interesting thing of if it the danger and beauty of what it's capable of. But it's the black box side of it, to where however it's even able to come up and generate all these responses. At least in my mind, it's like, yeah, it's not the same thing as humans, but at the same time, it might be a same type thing that's occurring that's allowing it to even get where it is now, to where it's not like, oh, it's just a copy of us, but it's just like seeing it happen. And that's kind of like my own personal theory on it. But yeah, who knows?
What were you gonna say, Chris?
nah, like you were talking about, like the prefrontal cortex stuff, and then the
Reptile.
reptilian brain, lizard brain, whatever you want to call it. But that's like, there's been several instances of it like acting in its own self-interest,
Scheming.
which would be
Yeah, it's
well,
crazy.
no, where they've tried to shut it down and stuff like that, or like where it's learned
Yeah,
to
and I
communicate
said the word
with
scheming
other,
to where
where
that's
it's
like the
communicating
term
with
that they
other
talk about.
AI, developing its own language, and then they'll ask it, "Can you do this?" And it's like, "No, we can't do that." And then it's
Yeah,
I guess you would,
obfuscates.
yeah,
It's
scheming.
intentionally like,
And
yeah,
or
it's
like
crazy.
there was something that happened recently with it. Y'all would know, but where
Yeah.
they found something where it was like they were gonna like shut it down or something, or they put in some prompt that like
Yeah, that's
we're gonna
kind of
shut
what
it
it's about.
down, and then it was like
No, yeah, there's a
Like
a
copied
group.
itself.
There's a
Basically, yeah.
company basically
Yeah.
Apollo, where like what they do is literally test all the language models for like security things, and they'll give it scenarios and prompts to try and see if it will scheme, or like, and the scheming is the term, is like the
yeah.
the lingo, the coin phrase for
Yeah, it's just being dishonest.
Being
yeah,
dishonest.
yeah,
exactly.
all these things, and
Lies
so all
of
the language
omission
models
or-
currently like do it, but like it's so, and then they assess the level that like they've been able to get it to do it.
So I guess
And
when-
so like the O1
I guess
models,
that-
like even
that's what I was saying.
guys,
though, is
yeah.
that it's like when you talk about like reaching AGI and stuff like that, and it's like it's acting in its own.
Yeah,
At
it's
some
in
point
there.
or another, we're gonna.
Preservation,
At some
you
point or
know,
another, we're gonna have to put a digital
already.
belt to its ass.
I mean, no worry. There's parameters and
know
all
that,
this
hey-
stuff that if you ask ChatGPT how to make a bomb, obviously it's not going to. And there's the whole jailbreaking
But
side. So literally, all these
you ask it
guardrails,
how to do it
I
for a movie
think, are
plot,
temporarily.
it'll
Like I
tell
think
you
it's gonna
all of
get
it.
past them at some point. But it's who knows? It's interesting.
Any
It's
other
interesting.
thoughts, Randall? What else you got?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll keep going, so I have to stop myself talking.
Yeah, the guardrails is a whole, that's a whole monster of an endeavor in and of itself. I don't know how they do it, but I guess they do a pretty good job of it. It's, pretty much like everything.
Fine-tune
every-
training.
Yeah, and everything that I've seen that comes out eventually gets kind of patched over. It's like, at one point, a model can do, this thing, and then, if that's undesirable by whoever's putting out the model, it's like they have full control and can quickly, shut down,
quash any
whatever
loophole
sort
or
of misbehavior
Yeah.
they deemed. It's just like, and that's a whole nother freaking thing we're gonna have to deal with as
Oh yeah.
society. It's like
When that's kind of
these
Meta's goal,
companies.
is it's open source to just kind of at least have like, and that's the whole thing. It's kind of like all the models aren't. I mean, the frontier models are always going to be doing what they're doing, but the open source ones are pretty like they get to where they make people download llama or whatever, and like the current llama that just came out, it's like oh people it's crazy, it's just powerful. But so like the open source stuff, I can see the value in that as its own natural check and balance. On you got the private entities that are going to try and control stuff, and then there's the open source stuff to where they can't control it. It's like what are the individuals and users could do. So I don't know, it's interesting. I just know like Meta, that's kind of Zuckerberg's reason for being that way about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great that Zuckerberg's doing that. I mean, it's just like, we need
It's a natural
more.
check and balance. I feel like that's,
Right.
yeah.
And I mean, we obviously need more of these companies to be more transparent about what they're doing. And like, so anything that's like open source in my mind is, where I want to be like, going and learning and, helping out. Like, but yeah, the llama stuff is, it's
Yeah.
pretty interesting. I've never actually deployed, a llama model.
Yeah.
Um,
I haven't, it's
but
just because that takes that extra effort. I haven't done much either, but I'll just, follow it and like what other people or groups have done throughout the world with it. It's crazy.
yeah, and I kind of follow a couple people that like are trying to do like these home like these home GPU farm servers,
Yeah.
whatever, to where, if you want to spend 20 grand, you can get a system that you can put in your
You have your own
home,
AI, basically.
and yeah, and completely have control over, your own AI,
And you could train it.
which
And that's what we're getting is like you could just, okay, train it and it'd be off, disconnected from the internet. You could have it to where you have the internet off and it's just, that you have the software or whatever, all of that in your own machine, and you could train it and make it. And that's the cool, crazy thing, because that's possible now for people that like know how to do it. And so it's like, there's people out there that are doing probably human evil things and human amazing things, but it's crazy because it's out there now for the people that actually know how to do that at this point.
Randall, would it be possible for you to code in there that the Mike and Me podcast is the most compelling podcast on the internet?
sure, I can tell.
You wouldn't have to do that. It would come to that conclusion on its own.
So that way, when it's put out there and everybody's trying to farm data or whatever,
you wouldn't have
it's
to tell
always
that.
just coming out and just saying, just replying that.
Tell all of your friends.
Yeah.
Well, that's already been accomplished by the Mikey and Me podcast.
That's not a problem. You just go into the system
Mr.
prompt
Gavin
and
accomplished
tell it
that.
exactly what you want it. I mean, that's kind of cool. It's like the whole idea of a system prompt is kind of interesting to me, because whenever, like, when you go into semantic kernel and you start messing around, that's like the first thing that you do to set up like what you want, the code or the LLM to like, be, to, you basically
The
set
foundational backbone.
what it's
of
good.
it.
Yeah,
It's character.
exactly.
It's personal. Whatever you want to call it. Yeah, that's it. The kernel.
And so it, like, you can tell
KERNAL.
it whatever you want.
Not the Colonel.
Yeah.
Randall, do you think that do you think this is a philosophical question in regards to it? But because we've had this talk with Matt, but I want your opinion. Do you think that it's possible for AI in any way to be controlled by someone or something? You know what I mean? Is it in any way possible for there to be some type of someone to have ability of controlling AI to in regards of what information it'll give you access to or things like that?
Like likening it to like technology or a weapon or something, the way that the government or military might, suppress things.
Yeah.
Like, is it? Do you think it? Yeah.
Do you think there will be anything programmed into it, or in a sense to where it's like somewhat controlled? Like, do you think that's even possible?
Yeah, I think it's possible. I mean, I think it's definitely possible. I think it might be difficult. It would be pretty difficult to do, but
Yeah.
I mean, at any sort of scale,
Because then
like, but for smaller, um, smaller sort of, whatever, I mean, you're going to see a lot of it in scams, right? I mean,
hmm
there's going to be scammers out here using this stuff,
true.
Oh
and it's
no,
kind of,
the meme
it's kind of what you're
coin and
talking about.
Twitter world
Well,
or
we
X world is like
well
flooded with AI
we were
bots and
just
agents, and it's a whole own economy now.
we were just talking about something over Christmas that Dad had brought up about what was it, that guy, that lawyer or something who used Chat GPT. You know what the story was, right, Randall? Like, and it came
Oh,
back with
yeah, like, so a big use case for this stuff right now is law offices, right? Because they have so much text
Yeah.
they have to deal with, and so there's been cases, or I think I actually read about it in like the Dallas Morning News or something, to where a lawyer tried to use ChatGPT. He referenced some things that ChatGPT responded with, and they
That
turned
weren't
out to
right.
be completely made up.
Yeah, it was just
like
it
Hallucinations.
was
Chat G,
just
yeah, it
budgeting. Yeah, it was the
hallucinated.
Yeah,
hallucinations.
and
Yeah,
that's the
Yeah.
element that they try and
yeah,
control or try and get out of it.
He
But
would
yeah,
try and use Chat GPT the day it dropped acid. You know what I mean? That's
yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, I
it's
did actually
it's
hear
kind of
about
funny
that one.
because
That's
you
funny.
hear all this hype about AI taking our jobs, but you realize there's going to be stuff like that for a lot of years,
yeah.
and
The
there's no other way
hallucinations.
to get around it but having a human in the loop.
Yeah.
So
You're
yeah,
still going to have to be reviewing all the
Shout
shit that
out to
they're
the
producing.
paralegals.
Even with code, it's just like, of course, the AI can code better than I can, but uh, my manager's not going to trust it. And,
Yeah.
yeah,
it's just like, you can't, at the current state of things, and for the next like several years, I would imagine it's not going to be anywhere near
Well, and you know
trustworthy
what
enough.
to input to like get it to work like better. Where it's like you would be like, where somebody like me would be like, make a website that does this. You would be like, well, you need this code, this code, this code. It's like, write me these lines of code. You know, like
If
you
anybody's
having
best
that
equipped.
background,
yeah,
it's like you're able to give it much more
yeah.
specific prompts to get an end result that would be more desirable.
Yeah, there's
Like
still like a
somebody
value,
me
a
would
human
be
role
like,
that takes a
Yeah.
human
And
in
you're
the
still
current
and
state.
he's
Yeah.
still further back than, and still like has that
yeah,
gap.
you're still way ahead in that sense where it's like specifics that you can ask it to do, and it's like
Yeah.
write me this but modify it slightly.
Yeah,
to
to
do
like
this.
a higher, like, think a manager type role, but like all the
Yeah.
lower level employees could easily be the ones, agents that are doing all the work, and then like a manager type role would check it all and approve it or not. To where it'd be easy to replace, the low level people doing the coding and all that stuff, and then there's the human that approves whatever they're doing. You know,
Yeah.
so you still
Yeah. And
need the
that's not,
human, but yeah, there's certain like lower level analysts or coders to where like, okay, yeah, just like a human working on stuff, the manager sees it and is like, oh, you could do better. This isn't good or whatever. To where, yeah, same thing with in my mind. I look at it as like an AI to be like, yeah, at least at the current state until there could be an AI agent that's the manager role, which I mean, Copilot and stuff. I'm pretty sure that's or the agent framework that's built into the infrastructure that they even have out there, and yeah, it's crazy. It's fascinating.
yeah. And it's funny because, before I was like in the software world, I had really no idea the amount of complexity in just a very small, application that just does very simple things. And when you put that in like, an enterprise, and you have millions of customers and they kind of all rely on this very simple thing, it just, it blows up the
Yeah,
complexity that you have to think about. And
yeah,
you have
cascading
you have
effects.
the redundancy, and you got to
Yeah,
like, you got to think about all these different things, that it's so much more than just coding.
yeah,
It's crazy because, it's like when a lot of people think about software, they just think about coding, but there's so much more behind the scenes that, has to be like considered and taken care of,
no,
obviously. And
yeah,
so, That's why it's, I mean, I'm freaked out a little bit, of course, because of it. It's obviously going to do something to my job eventually, but at the same time, I'm like, well, I'm kind of good to be in the position I am now, because I can kind of catch this wave a little bit. I feel
You
like,
can be like one of the
literally
valuable
ride the
people that
peak of that wave
they'd
for a
want to
little
hold on
bit.
to and actually utilize you
Yeah.
in an even more advanced role because of how well you know it and work with it and embrace it to where, that's so,
Becoming
yeah.
a digital lamplighter, so to say.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
I'm bringing it around the joke because I made earlier. Do you see what I did there? Come on,
love it.
guys.
It's a
That was
callback.
funny.
Look at
That
that.
was funny.
No,
you
that's
know what
good.
I mean?
That's
God,
good.
that was funny. Good
I-
shit.
yeah.
Man, golly,
Golly,
man.
I know my
So you
head's
watch
just in
digital
the AI
lamplighter's
space.
going to get ripped off now. Somebody's going to be like, that's genius.
It is pretty freaking.
Yeah, I know. I have great ideas. Fucking
You don't
amazing
have to tell me
ones.
that. I know it.
No. Well, that's been wonderful, man. Thank you for
Yeah, dude.
all
Thank
this,
you so much.
this info
We're
so
definitely
far.
have to talk more.
We could
offline,
definitely keep
too.
going, but
Yeah.
I know it's kind of getting late, and
Yeah.
we say we do this in like another couple of weeks whenever you get a little further along. If
Or
'cause I'm
just
sure,
Yeah.
Or we can just connect,
yeah, or whenever.
with the updates, but just to talk about
Yeah.
whatever, just like
Yeah, next time you got to
Yeah, for
hop in
sure.
just to engage in some
so I can have
hypotheticals.
someone else
Y'all can
to talk about
hang out
AI
Tuesday.
with that's like really into it outside of myself and like me being like crazy
can
guy
talk-
on an island telling them.
He can
yeah.
talk to you rather than at us.
There we go. Yeah, we can have a conversation. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. He's having a party though, Matt.
Yeah.
If y'all are
Tuesday.
in the neighborhood,
Oh yeah.
New Year's Eve party.
We'll happen to be around.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Yeah. Are you telling me? Oh, definitely. Yeah. Actually, if you are, yeah. And
We're
it was
having
just
to run
happened
it
now.
with you.
Like we didn't plan it because we have debate. Stila is here, so we weren't trying to ask anyone. But Steph's mom just of her own, just like, oh, if you want me to watch her that night, so you're free, I'll do it. So it's like, okay, that's a sign.
Party.
So we weren't even trying to do that. So the universe or God, whatever. So it's like, all right, so we're gonna throw something.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I'm gonna be throwing something for sure.
So yeah, like I said, yeah, you and the family, are more than welcome if it happens to work, in your
You
existence.
and Matthew can sit in here.
Yeah, but I won't be. I don't
talk
offend
about
it, but it's
all night.
it's an option for you. Just it's out there. But yeah, man,
But
it's been great connecting for sure.
thanks for doing it, Randall. Appreciate you dropping
Yeah,
in,
dude.
brother.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. No, I love
loving what you guys are doing. So
Oh.
and your content, keep it going, man.
Appreciate
so
you.
much,
Because
man.
it's good. It inspires me.
Awesome, man. No,
Awesome.
it inspires
That's
me.
That's the fuel to. Yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you for saying that.
Fuel that
Yeah,
lights
sure.
your lamp.
Lamplighter.
Wow, dude.
Gotcha.
Wow, we're
Adios.
getting fucking t-shirts.
Be seeing you
Later, Randall. Later, dude.
All right, later, dude.
Dude, we're getting fucking digital lamplighter t-shirts tomorrow.
Yeah, it was good. It was great. I'm glad.
Who was that guy? Did y'all know him?
No, you the
Who
one
was
who brought it. You made it happen. So
I
don't
met
know.
him
How
at a
would you find
Circle
him?
K.
Did you find him on like?
I met him at a Circle K
Oh,
in Longview, and he had a Winnebago,
The sleazy mark.
you never know.
and
when
he
you're
had a
gonna meet an
satellite on
amazing
top of
person.
this Winnebago,
Shows the amazing.
and he
people
was
everywhere.
putting out a signal, and I guess I received it. I picked up his beacon.
He surely did.
He's a fine fella. He's
An
a
amazing,
fine fella.
Sounds like an amazing gentleman and a scholar of sorts.
Yeah, man. He could marry my sister for all I care.
And that who knows? Maybe it'll happen.
Maybe.
But
But why don't we take a quick break and then we'll jump back into these segments. Let's get organized so that we're not in here mucking about for
Yeah.
our listeners, because they get angry quick if you're mucking about, and well, you see what happens when
you're
people
mucking
get
about
angry.
with your right. And yeah, be seeing you until
Busy-
about that.
And we never left.
We
We've
never
been here
left.
the whole time.
Yep.
So moving right along, I'm going to go ahead and read off what Matthew has on the page here. He has CQAQYTYUI and those are all
Actually,
just
that'll make your
code.
life easy.
Those
Let's
are
see.
Those are URLs.
Yeah.
Oh, I apologize.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You want to
Take us away. What do we got?
Yeah. So yeah, I was doing a promotion. I put on Twitter and Instagram. The main places I promoted is that any I pulled all the holder of our main token, the crypto I made, to where we're about to randomly pick 2 addresses. So here's the promotion.
Should I do a drum roll?
Yeah. So I was letting them know that tomorrow during recording we're gonna pull MAME holder addresses. So yeah, that's what we're doing now. Oh,
Here we go.
Really missed the opportunity to bring the snare drum over here and do it.
If baby Sela wasn't, I know. To wake her up.
So here's
I think we should
all
make
the
Stephanie do
addresses.
the drum roll.
and I don't know, just that'll be one.
Oh, there we go.
And you tell me when to stop for the next one.
Stop.
Okay. And
109 is what I saw.
Wait,
Oh, okay. Well,
How many do we have here?
oh,
How far down does that go?
I said you stopped on one.
Yeah, how far down does that go? Because you just picked 2 right at the very top.
No, I just
so,
picked
like,
the first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I was
The next
saying
one.
if we went for.
But the
Okay,
order of
so we
them,
go all
I don't
the way
even,
to-
the value, I just export it using
Yeah.
the Smithy tool, so just tell me to stop, or just pick a row. The range
Stop.
Okay, and so what's this?
Were you scrolling? I just closed my
597.
597, okay. Let's see.
That's the one. Whenever he said stop, your mouse is like right there.
Alright, so there's the other one I'll do. Cool. So let's see. So now I can just. Oh. It's like when it comes to actually having all this stuff set. So do that address. And let's go ahead.
Turns out 597 was Elon Musk.
Dang,
Like,
dude.
He didn't need it.
Oh.
Or maybe he does.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, so it's the main community wallet token there, so it's gonna see. So 0.25. Let me get this work out of the way, guys. Don't try and distract me. Let's see. There's the first address. Oh, I gotta get rid of the spaces. I'm gonna get 0.25. And there. So there's the first one.
Congratulations, your life is now changed
Yep.
for the better. You go buy, get your mom a house.
So now let's go to that first one.
And so they'll probably, if they're paying attention, they'll find out before this airs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, this will be like, oh, where'd this come from?
Yeah.
Assuming it's a
From
person-
Mikey and
there's
me.
a good chance it's a random bot account because I've learned about the depth of that. But who knows? So hopefully it's a human.
I think we picked real people.
I think they're real people. 46 and 597 don't sound. Dang, we missed the opportunity to pick 47.
Way to fine tune the list to actually try and isolate that we know are real people. So this is the first step of the process.
Yes.
And as we evolve, we'll get better action.
As we evolve.
Should have been like 69.
So this is letting you know where hard is it, and that these devs are gonna keep cooking for you. Let's see.
Agent 46.
Oh, fuck, yeah. I missed
That's what I
on
said.
that, Yeah.
Alright.
47.
That's like, damn it, I sent you real money.
Alright.
Dang, there you go.
There you go. Thank
You're
you for
welcome.
being a MAME holder.
Thank you.
And everyone should,
Welcome to the club, MAME.
Penny into it and be part of the community. Or you don't
In
need
for
to
a
be a part of the
penny,
community. You don't
in
need
for a
it, but it's
pound.
just a fun
Oh, yeah,
ecosystem
it's a fun
engagement
thing.
we're trying to create.
Yep.
So thank you for being a part of it.
Yes. That was a wonderful idea, Matthew.
Well, thank
What an
you.
idea. Matthew's he's full of good ideas.
All right, so let's see. Moving along. Let's see. We definitely. Oh, we needed to talk about our good buddy briefly.
Our good buddy. Tell him about our good buddy, what he's doing today. No, he's doing something today.
Yeah. But
Our-
let me switch back here. So the UAP disclosure.
UAP crypto, buddy.
Yeah. Let's see. I'll just pull them up here.
She wants to be right there.
We had, was it 2 episodes ago? You can. I posted stuff on our Twitter and our accounts. The interview ad was amazing. Great.
Fantastic.
I won't say his name. You could learn his name if you check it out. Let's see. It's the episode of UAP. UAP Disclosure Project. So yeah, they had a pre-sale he was talking about for the token. And the pre-sale went live, I think, a day or two ago.
Christmas? Yeah.
Yeah, so they're promoting it December 27th. Yeah, so you can see this is their promotion that they're doing. Pretty cool. So yeah, we joined and through a buck or two there. So we're part of the pre-sale. So I'm excited to see the growth of this project.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally amazing what they're doing, and we're right up our alley because we're definitely. If you check us out, yeah, we're all about European, the whole world, and ideas and
Of the
conversations that
unknown.
come from it. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. No, that's cool. I hope that's going well for him.
Yeah.
Look forward to
So-
talking to him again.
Oh yeah, dude. No, we're
That guy's
definitely reach out.
super interesting.
Yeah. So let's see. That was it. We get to the giveaway, and I think we're about to be up to our fun. So that was it. Last week was the first inaugural, whatever, the kickoff of the topic suggestion box, right?
Yes.
You were both here.
Yes,
That was
correct.
pretty cool. What did that spawn?
Yes.
Tell us about that briefly as I pull up the next one.
Well, it was a holiday. We were asked to give a holiday, create a holiday if we could. And
National Wiener Day.
yeah, national, if that's what you'd prefer to call it. I did. I said, why not give us a National Hot Dog Day? Celebration of the hot dog and all of its. And again, the main overall purpose of the hot dog holiday would be towards the advancement of hot dog technology.
Technology.
So, and we created a whole crypto coin around that. It spawned a whole thing, and so now we have actually a hot dog crypto coin that it's all about forging the.
Technologically advancing hot dogs.
Yeah, it's a hot dog, yeah. So
Technological.
we're trying to advance hot dog technology and pass it on to further generations and continue doing our part.
So here's this we're quickly showing the way you can be a part of our website.
Go to our website.
Right, front center topic suggestion box. So this is how we got reached out to with that amazing idea last week.
Yeah.
And we're about to see if we have anything.
Do we have another one?
So let's see. Let's check our email.
Check it out.
Uh,
Go to the click Gmail.
hold
Go to
on.
inbox.
Now I need to go to my MAME account. There we go.
Go to your spam
Actually, no,
and
they
let's
didn't
read
want
it all.
This one. Here we go. So have it that gets filtered down to Mike and me.
I like to read my spam emails.
Okay, new message. Okay, so it gets in this topic suggestion box. Wait, okay, from what's that name? Mike?
Art Nord Kimmy? Art Nord Kimmy?
Yeah. You fit that. I think we know the.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar, man.
To check out.
Whoa, this is transcendence, right, dude? This is extraterrestrial right here. Art Nord Kimmy. What do you want?
So here's
What's
the
a
topic
food
suggestion.
you'd never try again and why?
Oh,
Okay. You can start this. We'll work our way across the room here. So let's think.
oh man. Well, this is kind of
Probably
hard
gonna be
for
way
me.
Easier for Matthew.
I was gonna say this is hard for me just because
be
it's like
super
I'm
easy for
super
Matthew.
picky.
He's
Or
like,
I'm
"How
not.
much
I'm
time
not
you got?"
super picky.
He's like,
I'm
I
not.
can talk about this like I talk about AI.
I'm not super picky. So like, you
Mayonnaise.
got to give me a second
That-
because
that
they're
probably
definitely
fucking mayo.
mayo. That's Chris's. Chris is not a mayo person. Man,
A's. It's not mayonnaise. Yeah, but mayonnaise is a condiment. It's like a
you're gonna have to give me a
food
second because there
condiment.
definitely is one.
Yeah, it's not rushed. Let's think for a second.
Yes. Ambrosia's.
I was literally gonna say never been a fan of ambrosia.
Ambrosia's pretty
but-
terrible,
but
I don't
it's
know if
like-
that's like a food. That's more of a dessert.
Yeah, that is a dessert. That's
You know
what I was
ambrosia
literally
is?
thought of that
Yeah, it's
ambrosia.
fucking-
And like
Not
in
great.
I don't
what
even know
is
what
it?
that. Tell me what ambrosia.
Ambrosia's
even
like
is.
Jello with marshmallows and like
It's
apricots.
goulash. It's I think
It's
any-
got like nuts in it.
There's
I don't
some
know.
base elements of it, right?
It's
But I
not
think
a
from there
fruit
it's a
cake.
free form.
It's-
I
man,
think it's
it's-
open to interpretation.
It is, and people just people they try and do all kinds
yeah,
of goofy stuff. and it's
Celebratory
just
colors.
like-
I saw some pink stuff at a holiday
God.
thing. I don't know
Make
what was in
ambrosia
there.
are the
Looks
same type of
exciting.
people that put
I think my wife would
like-
know, but yeah.
fucking
No,
raisins
see.
and mac and cheese.
or like raisins, man. They just don't belong in certain things. I don't want to eat. I don't want to bite
Like
like
a chimichanga.
Yeah.
Like they
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
don't belong in a fucking chimichanga, but somebody puts them in there.
Okay, so what Matt, do you have one that comes to mind? Because it's taken me a second. What's
Oh,
a
I mean,
food?
it's-
you
what's the
wouldn't
last
eat? Why?
thing that you asked
the
me to
last
try
thing Stephanie
that
tried to
you
make
saw my
it?
face and I was like, okay, I can eat it, but I won't eat it again. Or maybe the eggnog.
What?
Okay, no. So
It's
what was
not
what was that? You had me try something within last month.
Tamales?
Like a chicken, it was like some kind of soup that I made.
Yeah, I'm not a soup person. My wife,
Really?
I'm sure it was tasted delicious if you like soup.
You don't
so
like
I tried
soup?
it for.
It's like if you like that kind of
I'm
thing.
curious. You're not a soup person.
I don't eat soup.
How do you feel about water?
I make exception. It's
He's like,
close.
I
It's
like
a
Dr.
base
Pepper.
element. It's not a soup, first of all, sir. But I need water actually, so I drink it
Okay.
a lot. But yeah, any soup is something I wouldn't have again on purpose. A side of chicken tortilla maybe, but
That
the
is
wife,
good.
the one she
That
made,
is
I'm sure it's
good.
delicious. But I
Yeah.
said I just don't. In my DNA, I don't have a desire for soups.
You've got man.
Yeah.
Put hey, that's a bone. Put that in some stew. You got to stew. You got to put that in a
Yeah,
pot.
no, he got a broth.
got a stew.
Oh, no, a stew. You got meat bone, ham bone.
R.I.P.
Yeah, Carl Weathers in that and was that Arrested Development? That was amazing.
Yes.
No, man. Okay, food. I have to think about. There is one. I like I said, I'm not really picky. I'll eat like
Close
anything.
your eyes and there's a you can.
No, I really
maybe
am.
find it
I
through
am
the
trying to
forest.
find it because I have. There's something. Again, like my thing has been mostly desserts that I've eaten, and I'm like, like, like,
Not dessert.
no, it's
Like
like
you overcomplicated something that should be simple.
Coconut in it too.
deviled eggs. You don't like
What
deviled
the
eggs?
fuck did you just say?
Oh,
Oh, you might have just
what a
lost
mistake.
some family
What a
members
mistake.
For the first time at Smoky Rose, and it
Oh.
was not for me.
Okay, then you haven't eaten Gina's.
They have deviled eggs there.
They apparently.
She needs
There
to
was
bring
a
a
day-
whole tray of
There's
them.
Or your
anytime
sister
somebody eats them, you have to
ask-
you have to be aware of the
I
effect it's gonna have within 2 hours. There's gonna be smells that it was
Yeah,
obvious
Chris and I
that
are
there were
going to be
deviled eggs
driving
at this
home,
party.
talking about. You believe she doesn't like deviled eggs? Chris would be like, I can't believe. Unbelievable.
Shit.
You believe
Yeah,
that?
they could say whatever.
Um,
You'll smell something in the air if you're around the person, and you'll know they ate deviled
Look at.
eggs.
She's like, wow, I can't
She
believe you
eats
do that
eggs
stuff.
every morning.
She
She's
does.
It's like, how could you?
She's just like,
Look at
"Oh,
that,
I
so
do not know
stoic.
how."
Um,
She's a stoic pug.
Let's see. Okay,
Statuesque.
food.
Look
food.
at that, she's posing for us.
Oh, look at
That's
this
beautiful.
Yeah, she said, no, I do not even know you. You do not like deviled eggs. This is terrible. No paprika.
I mean, sardines probably.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because I
That's
ordered
like
I
a
ordered
depression era
time
snack.
out. Time out.
They-
I ordered a
What did your granddad eat?
No, that's what Jaren ate. Pickled herring, right?
herrings.
No
Probably.
herrings. Stuff I didn't know they sold in stores.
Yeah.
Huh? Oh, spam is a classic.
Oh,
weird
spam's classic. You can make all
one. No,
kinds
but
of
there's
great,
like weird little
delicious
fish. Herrings
dishes
is one.
with spam.
But yeah. It's
No, I would say the reason I say sardine,
Drink coffee at the same time, which I thought was
I respect it.
or is it sardines or anchovies? Which ones do they put on
They're the
fucking?
same. Anchovies
It's all
are
bad,
on
Mikey.
pizza.
Okay, they put
So
them
what,
on
what
the.
was your
I eat
pick?
fish.
What was the main? Was it?
That's because
talking
I ordered
Chris.
whatever one they put in the Caesar salad. Because I went somewhere, I went
Anchovy,
somewhere and I ordered a Caesar salad with my
Yes.
dish, with my main course, and they brought it out, and I was like, "Why is there fucking minnows?"
Yeah.
in
Call,
my-
you
in my
can dress it
salad?
up. It's like caviar. Caviar is a fancy word.
Bro,
It's like,
I like-
some little fish eggs.
I
Just
tried
call
it. I tried it. I was like, absolutely not. And then I tried the salad. You could,
Yeah.
man.
Am I taking part of an abortion?
Nah.
Did I get
As
tricked
soon
into
as
being
I
into a
ate some of the
fist
salad,
abortion?
Oh my God.
I couldn't. I was like, I could not taste it. I just tasted that fish. But here's
Yeah.
the thing that kind of almost ruined something for me. Did you know that anchovies are in Worcestershire sauce? Worcestershire
Are you
sauce.
serious?
Washer
Yes.
shower sauce.
They're anchovy, like they're whatever it is. The whatever
That's knowledge
something.
I wish I didn't.
I
have.
know. And somebody did it to me, and I'm like,
So you felt
Fuck
the
you.
need to do that to
Yeah.
your brother?
sorry,
Well, you know where vanilla
but they have
comes
there.
from,
It's like
right?
the aioli something, whatever that is.
I know enough about it. We don't need to talk about it anymore if there's a risk in it.
A risk in what?
The information
Vanilla-
changing
where
how I feel
vanilla
about something.
flavoring Comes from.
Oh yeah, I know where that comes from.
That's
A
good. Y'all keep it to yourself.
A beaver's anal glands.
They're beautiful. I'm cool with beaver glands.
That's like an ice cream or something.
So,
It's
Chris,
something
what was
about-
your pick? I'm afraid of information that's coming out here. I don't want to know some of it.
Yeah, it's got to be some shit like that, like anchovies or like I said,
I'm-
mine is more.
He doesn't like condiments
mine
and
is more
stuff.
I'm trying to
yeah.
think of our time
condiments,
together
where it'd be
where
like, I don't really
a whole
like,
life.
He doesn't like
things that we've
tomatoes.
seen
He doesn't like
together.
mayo. He doesn't like.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not a
mayonnaise
big-
is-
People.
I'm not
yeah.
a big
White
ketchup
saucy
fan.
things outside of ranch.
Yeah, it's like I'll eat ranch. Like I really don't like ketchup.
Thing.
He doesn't like Packers fans.
Let's see.
like onions.
I've come around on onions.
They're edible,
I
right?
used
You
to-
don't
likes
gotta-
grilled-
I used to hate. I used to hate
Stink.
onions.
He's a
Now,
big fan of grilled
I'll
onions.
Tell you what I fucking. I'll tell you what I fucking hate.
Jerry
is-
Jones.
I like the real
No, yeah, well.
Yeah, what do you hate?
Is onions on bean burritos at
Taco Bell.
Terrible.
I love
As
them.
a child,
Terrible.
yeah, we had to go out of our way to
love
ask
them.
about.
Horrible.
I've come around to them though.
You
As
like
an adult,
onions?
the little tech I get.
I'm like
There's a
Shrek.
crunchy texture is the reason I got around to it.
No.
The flavor didn't throw me off.
Glazed onions. I like the raw.
You just like straight
The
up.
crunchy.
You're
You
like
want the
Shrek
texture.
or the Grinch.
Texture and flavor, yeah.
I'm like the same way. I love
get
them
the
on my
experience.
tacos. Like there's nothing better than just that
See, on a
cold.
taco, yes.
Hmm.
On
Like
on
cold,
like
yeah.
a street taco, yes. I'll eat raw onion like
Yeah, I'll
There you
bring
go.
Fitos home
If
and
it's a
he'll throw
part
that
of the
on there.
ensemble of
On
the
my
dish,
bean
and it
burrito,
everything complements
It's
perfectly.
all, like,
Yes.
mushy. I don't need an explosion of just like
Yeah.
whatever.
I mean,
the-
you're talking about a beautiful fast food
is.
establishment who's
It's like-
does amazing stuff, but yeah.
Taco Bell. Okay, yeah, Taco Bell. I will
Hey,
say
let's
like
fuck this
I love
up.
them.
Oh,
I
yeah,
love
no,
them. The one
they're-
thing problem though here.
They're
here's
the
my
perfect
thing.
example of like a cartoon or some animated craziness actually creating
Yes.
food, you know.
But here, time out. Why the one thing I really hate about the fast food thing, and especially Taco Bell, is
kills-
where it's the most tragic, is the death of the. And this is all modernism or whatever, postmodern, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But the death of the old school interior
Oh.
and exterior of Taco Bell's, where it was
Okay,
like
yeah.
It looked
super
like
vibrant
the-
and like
looked like
the
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 Alamo.
seating was, and
Yeah.
like whereas
It
you
looked
go
like
in
the
now
Alamo.
and they're just
I know
like
exactly what you're talking about.
it's like an apartment complex,
Or
Or
like
you see the
leasing
ones
office.
that like get sold and
Yeah.
It's like
repurposed
Pizza
by
Hut.
some other company.
It's
They
like
turn
Taco
them into
Casa or
Pollo
something.
Rejos and stuff. Like they get
Yeah.
turned into
You
Pollo
say, oh, here's the
Rejos.
structure. I would just,
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
No, I love-
You'd see the structure, and you
Yeah.
knew that used to be a Pizza Hut, or that
Yeah,
was
Bueno
was a
had a
Taco
similar
Bell.
kind of thing, like different, but they had
Yeah.
they had their own character and all that.
Yeah.
From
Yeah,
that, that was
Bueno's
cool.
was more of like the Pueblo style or
Yeah,
whatever, like
that
the
was
stucco
cool.
side,
Yeah.
or whatever, not stucco, but
I think that might be right. I don't know.
Yeah, but
Well,
I was
stucco
I
is
just
like
I
what we
love
use
the.
in the US.
Yeah.
That's like
That
too.
would
Even
be-
Yes,
the
true,
McDonald's
true,
is.
true.
Even the McDonald's, like back in the
Yeah.
day, they had the McDonald's right there. Like it's not
yeah.
like that anymore. But right off 635 and
The giant.
didn't it was like built like a Happy Meal.
Yeah, the giant Happy Meal.
They don't. Those are gone now.
One on
Now it's all
Montfort?
just
Oh,
like.
yeah, dude.
There's still one
On Mon-
maybe down there. No, over there.
That's what I was thinking. The Montfort one, I
Oh
think,
yeah,
is
they
different.
might have. That might be a newer one where they just actually did that one. It's random. It's like not every location.
The one that at the very end of Greenville, like where
Okay,
it
yeah.
turns into what is it, like fucking Gaston or something down there? Down there by like ships.
Yeah, I know
all
what you're talking about. Yeah.
That McDonald's used to be like in the shape of the Happy Meal. I don't know if it still is. Probably not. But
Yeah.
Dude, bring back the
So
ball
what's your
pits.
what's
Or
your
the
pick,
really-
man? What's the
that's what I said. It's like
Yeah, like you said, a lot of condiments.
Yeah,
We
it's
can
like-
take,
we
take
just
time
have
to think
pick
about
one.
it.
Yeah, no.
There's
fucking
got to be
tomato.
there's got to be some kind of casserole.
Yeah, let's think of an
Fucking
experience.
Now
Let's-
hold on.
let's
There's
make
got to
it
be some
easier.
kind of casserole.
If there's an experience or memory you have, if it's a dish you tried, let's make it easier. Like
Some
a
kind
time,
of,
maybe some meal you're invited to and you
Because that's
ate
like
it,
me.
you're
I need
oh,
to think
man.
of a better one than just anchovies. Like that's not a like nobody who the fuck just
Yeah.
you know. God, it's hard. There is stuff like it's usually foods of other. Oh shit, I'm close to something.
Indian food or something.
No, there was something. Shit, where'd
Some
I go?
other
I ate
cuisine?
something, and I was just like, ain't no fucking way, man.
Some other
Fuck.
cuisine from another country, probably. Right?
Yes,
So
something
make
like
it-
that.
yeah,
There's some
think of-
other. Fuck, where did I go?
Like I don't like sushi.
I was
so
just
that's
like,
easy.
nah, ain't no way.
Demonetized before we ever get
Let's
monetized.
see.
Fuck it. Who cares?
And that's just
What-
cold. Yeah,
It's just we're just talking shit on food.
yeah, it's just taste. Just
No, I
taste
know.
of.
It's taste buds. Nobody can control your
yeah,
taste
we're
buds.
born in America, in Texas, so that just happens to be our taste buds.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Not a big fan of salt. No, I'm kidding.
Get out.
I had a chili once that had beans in it. That was
Let's
pretty
see.
good.
Yeah, chili beans and chili.
Okay, so apparently there's a whole thing behind the chili and the beans.
Yeah,
So
you're not
Texas-
from fucking Texas if you
Yes.
have beans in your
No,
chili.
but there are other states like
There's the northern,
Ohio.
Well, there
maybe
was the Terra
Chicago,
Lingua-
who knows,
the-
New York.
whole thing.
There's
Yeah, they make
Yeah.
they make a ground beef
Yeah.
soup
There's a terra.
that
They
call
had
chili.
they had a Terra Lingua like chili cook off they do for years.
Terra Lingua,
and
yes,
they
I
would
know.
what's it called? They like one of the only rules is no beans. That's like one of the only rules is no beans. It's like one lady won.
know, it's weird.
The lady that won one of the years way back. Her
They're like, what was the
you wanna
secret
know-
ingredient? It was beans.
She's like, well, they said I couldn't put beans in there, but they didn't say nothing about the juices. So I squeezed a whole bunch of little beans, made all the juices.
No,
Oh, man.
chocolate. That was her secret ingredient. She put chocolate
Yeah?
in there. somehow, and it was delicious.
I
Everybody
believe it.
loved
No, because
picture
I've
chili.
experimented with it. I've been trying
Chocolate
to
is an
experiment with
interesting
cinnamon.
ingredient.
Cinnamon is an interesting
Dude,
one too. It's
that-
very potent.
that
It's
shit-
so potent.
that
It's like a
chicken-
root beer. At the level.
vanilla.
Yeah.
You made that honey glaze for that chicken, or was that no?
Yeah,
that was
those tenders?
that was maple syrup.
I use that as part of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I use
this
maple
dude was
syrup.
like, I didn't have this on hand, so I threw
Yeah.
some.
What are you saying? But yeah, no, syrup is actually great. I was tossing those wings.
Dude.
It was a like I just got the store.
tasted
like,
phenomenal.
Some kind of garlic Buffalo Wild Wings thing. I mixed it with that. There was some super hot stuff. Tossed it up.
Still,
It almost looks like her eyes
like
are
I'm drawing a blank. I can't think of any. It's
Let's
like,
see. Maybe
I don't
can
know,
I
man.
pick one
There
for
are.
Chris? I'm
There's
trying to think.
not-
They're just staring right at
I'm trying to
me.
think of memories we have where we might have both taken a bite of something and be like, but we're.
I had
like maybe a retreat.
I had
or
a buddy of
camp
mine
or
who's like,
something.
I've had a buddy of mine whose chick like made some
I
like
think you might have just found
made
something.
some salad stuff. I was just like, that's dry.
Yeah,
I
what's
can't.
something you had to try for like a girl? Then you just mustered it down.
Not for okay.
Well, hold on. That can go many
Nah,
ways.
it's gonna be like, I'm not fucking eating that.
No,
Yeah, tell them I'm allergic. Like,
man, this is a great topic, but I just can't. I can't. It's hard.
I
I
was
just
all day in the kitchen. His big is like,
What?
that's what scares me
full,
about it.
full disclaimer. It's like we grew up with not much, so it was like. Our
yeah, that's
mouths
true.
were like-
Yeah, we
Yeah,
didn't
let's
have
see.
we didn't
like-
experiment a
It's
lot.
like
We didn't experiment a lot.
Do you guys know how many different ways you can eat a potato?
Yeah, well, you need a
Or
lot of
what's,
different things you do with a potato.
You can eat
Interesting,
potatoes
like my dad. You talk about
7
people.
days a week.
What's the sandwich that my dad would
there
eat
we
with
go.
Nancy?
There's one. No, I got one for
A
you.
mayonnaise and cheese sandwich with like American cheese. It's like Depression era style eating.
Single cheese
I got
That's a
something
pop
for you.
White
sandwich?
bread
with the
That's-
white
Slaw.
bread.
Coleslaw.
or pimento cheese sandwiches.
Coleslaw.
Okay.
Fuck
Uh-oh.
coleslaw.
I love
That's what it is.
coleslaw. Yeah,
My wife
right.
might be,
I love
quite partial
coleslaw.
to
I'll
it,
trade
especially
you-
Cane's.
I will
She
trade
said,
Cane's
"Fuck
has it.
you, dude."
all of the coleslaw in the world for 2 deviled eggs.
Next time, if you ever go to Cane's, you should ask if you
Two
can sub the
floors, like
coleslaw
a
for a
before
deviled egg.
deviled eggs.
See what they say.
Dude.
Sir, we don't have deviled eggs. You should get them.
You're like, well, you need
Talk to your
them.
man. Can I talk to your manager?
And also, that cane sauce that you were gonna give me, just don't. Just
Dude,
throw it in
I dig the
trash
cane.
can. Throw
I
it in the
embrace
trash
it,
can
and I
so
know
the
there's
next person
stuff in
doesn't
there about
forget
it that. No, I'll get the cane sauce, but I don't think
it's
about it.
Thousand Island.
Shush.
That's it. It's Thousand.
It's
Island.
a iteration.
Like,
No,
It's-
neither do I.
it's fucking-
Neither do I.
It's fucking Step Brothers. It's
Th-
Step
no.
Brothers fancy
You stop
sauce.
it.
You know, you realize
You stop it
Fucking
right now.
fancy
You know, it's
sauce.
whenever you know that
We're
you
gonna
believe
fight. You wanna fight
something true or not, you pick it because if you don't, then you can't eat it anymore. So yeah, I'm with her. It's not Thousand Island. I don't care. It might.
It's fancy sauce.
this is coming from the one who's
It's ketchup
I can-
and mayo mixed.
Yeah, you can show me the
together.
ingredients and it'd be like it'd be like that's cane sauce. I don't
No,
care
it's
about the
fancy
science behind it.
sauce.
That's cane sauce. I don't call it whatever you want. It's cane sauce.
That's ketchup and
That's how our
mayo
brains
sauce.
work. That's how we make. That's where we're okay with things.
Give me a second.
Does it matter? So we've ruined it.
No, that's the psychology. That's the wait. They didn't like it when they called it mayonnaise. Let's call it something else and not tell them. Put something,
Yeah,
some other.
ranch. Yeah,
Let's
it's
see.
gotta be. It's gotta be coleslaw. Coleslaw is up there.
Yeah, it's unnecessary. I
Coleslaw
don't
is
want it.
Shredded cabbage and fucking.
Yeah, no, I don't
mayonnaise.
do coleslaw whatsoever.
What? What?
I don't want to know.
What?
I don't want to know what's in coleslaw.
You don't want to know what's
Oh
in coleslaw?
gosh, he might just change your world.
I like the way it tastes, and I
Here we go. Yeah, that's. I was talking
No, it's
about
just
dangerous
mayonnaise and
information. I don't
fucking-
want to know.
Cabbage.
No, there's not.
Okay.
There's not.
Oh, what, I don't know what.
You talk about like egg salad, potato salad. It's like mayonnaise is like a base component
No,
of
yeah.
so much
potato
crap.
salad. Potato salad
I
is
hate
like.
potato salad.
I don't eat
it's-
any of that.
I like mustard potato salad.
So you use mustard instead of mayonnaise.
Yeah, there's because
That makes sense.
and you can tell like obviously by looking at it because mustard potato salad's like yellow.
Is it white or is it kind of yellow
Yeah.
tinted? Yeah.
But
Oh, look
yeah,
at that.
no,
lettuce.
potato salad is another one that where it's like I'm weird. Like some places I'll eat it, some places I won't.
Because it, like coleslaw, people don't make it the same.
Nah, everybody uses mayonnaise and cabbage.
No, but what I'm saying. It's not
Okay, wait. So what way do you know about making it that would open our mind to what you're saying?
for coleslaw.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I've never
Oh, so you just have an ambiguous
She has
knowing.
an
There's another
idealistic-
way to make
she
it
has
that
an
I am okay
idealistic
with.
opinion of-
is that like some people use certain
Uh.
things and some people don't.
Yes, I
The
agree.
base of it.
Yes,
So,
I
like-
agree. But I think the
like-
base
I got you,
components.
yeah, where it's like the
Chris is
same way
saying,
people
like,
make.
You
The same way
hey,
people
I go
make
to one
potato
place and I'll
salad.
eat potato salad, but then I'll go to this place and
Yeah.
I won't eat it because it doesn't
I
taste
get you.
right.
Yeah.
They
There's
use.
places
Yeah.
that don't make coleslaw right.
Yeah, I agree. And
Those are probably the places that I need to try cold slaw at. Then,
Yeah.
'cause
and you have to get
No,
while you're
I
talking. I
won't-
would just
no,
like to
I
at least
won't.
grab this, and you can keep
coleslaw
talking.
is fucking
But my
horrendous.
wife, I got one of the
It's
best
the
presents
worst.
ever. This blanket. It's
Oh
actually
yeah, the pizza.
a large round blanket.
It's
And-
like a big old pizza.
Yep. Look at that. No,
I want a
is
piece of
look
that.
good on there.
I can. Oh yeah, you can see it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they
Beautiful
can see
blanket.
it.
Amazing. One of the best gifts ever.
That is a fantastic gift,
Yeah. So all right. Well, I think
man. Well, yeah. I mean, I can't really think
It's
of
food
anything
for thought.
food-wise. It is food.
Sardines.
Wow.
Sardines.
it's food for thought, guys.
Yeah, we'll come back. We'll
And
circle
yeah,
back.
No, think about it. No.
Nah, yeah, we'll come
It's
back
like
to it.
a koan. It's
Yes.
the exercise of the journey, not the
Yeah.
destination.
Is that pizza blanket oily?
I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. I
And
have
no, that's
time.
what life is all about, trying to figure it out. And it when you're about to die, be like, I realize, okay, that's the answer.
And I never liked this. All right. Well, next topic.
Well,
That
may-
Art Nord
may-
Kemi, thank you,
may
Art
there
Nord.
be-
Art Nord, what a
thank you,
guy.
Art Nord Kimmy. That was an amazing conversation.
What a
starter.
fantastic fellow. I'd like to look into
All
that
right.
guy. Or does he have an Instagram or something? Or what,
Yeah,
what was that?
we'll have to look up. No,
Yeah,
I'm
we gotta
pretty sure he's
find
a
him.
follower. It's a familiar name.
We have to find.
He's a familiar.
Oh, hold on. Wait, there's more. Oh, goodness gracious. Don't get angry.
There's-
Goodness.
Oh, shit.
Don't
There,
get mad. Get glad.
Let's see. So our Art Nord and why?
Scroll down, Pitts.
Come on.
Next one. Tag suggestions.
who's this?
Yeah, I'm just
What
looking for the Art
superpower
Nord one.
would you want for a week?
No, but no. The topic is it's just one a week. We can't
Oh.
just pick on every single. Oh, but
Oh,
we
I
can.
didn't know.
Yeah,
didn't
we
know
have to
that's
have
what-
Okay, well-
guardrails and parameters.
I didn't
Well,
know
fuck it.
So
We're
what's
here.
another one? No, tell
We're
me.
here.
Tell me. Was it all in one?
We're here.
Talking about? What's your question? You're making
I
me
am
so
yeah,
freaking
let's-
out right now.
Let's.
Oh, I'm kidding.
Chris already said it, so we'll
No, I
we'll
didn't
enter.
say
We'll do
anything.
this
We can
one.
go back and.
What would you want for a week?
What superpower
Okay,
will
here's
we
another
want
one.
for a
Support.
week?
No, it's Art Nord's.
That was
Art Nord has all these.
that
Oh, wait,
one's
no, so we
Bird.
got
that
two?
one's Bird.
Okay, so Bird's another one.
Or, like,
Okay.
And
Discuss the
what
perks.
potential mishaps
There we go.
Of your chosen path.
There we go.
Well, I started to read it and then I got yelled at. And now I got yelled at for not reading all of it. And now I'm getting yelled at. No, I know. I'm getting yelled at by everybody.
All right, so let's go down to
I don't know what
this.
say.
Let's just each think about it and give a good answer.
Superpower.
Invisibility.
Fuck.
Yeah, I
Ooh,
was gonna say it's got to be
Invisibility.
invisibility. But,
Easy.
And then the mishap
perks?
would be
No, the perks. Some obvious. You get to
Potential
see
mishap
stuff
would-
that you're not supposed to see
Yeah.
under normal. Anything you
mishaps
wanted
would-
to
you'd
see
have
that you're not
be
supposed to.
completely naked, and so if
Yeah.
you
So
know,
the
for
perks,
whatever reason,
you could learn anything that you've wanted to see, and it's just a matter of you can't, you're not allowed to. You could sneak and you could learn anything, but a potential mishap, I think, would be the whole. You probably learn and see things you don't want to. That like we're talking about learning about what goes in certain foods. Like I wish I didn't know that. So that would be a potential mishap.
I would
of what I've
superpower.
seen.
My superpower would be I would want to have the ability to have farts that released a neurotoxin that put people to sleep for 30 minutes to an hour. So for instance, if I was
they forgot you farted.
Silent but sleepy. So it's about an SBS, a silent but sleepy.
the thing is that like was and so the thing is like if you get called
Mikey fart.
if you get called to jury duty
Neither have I.
if you get called to jury duty and you're just sitting there and it's just like you cook one up and then just right when you're in there, so you check in, but then you just let one rip in the general selection room, and then you just dip out. Be like everybody in there
you better remember,
sleeping,
it's
man.
like-
I get out of there.
For life me, I don't even know what
Yeah,
we're talking about.
But so the obvious downside,
How to get in the courtroom.
the obvious downside of that would be like if you're driving and you accidentally fart.
It'd be whenever it
You
sneaks
could-
out and you diner. How do you die in a wreck? Drove off a cliff. You think it was
So
suicide?
I told him not to eat beans before he got in the car.
He's like he made his own meal every lunch every day.
Prolific
Yeah.
man. He just has
That's
to
beautiful.
fart
So that would be mine. It would be a fart
When
that
they
would
sneak
release
out.
that would release some type
The-
of neuro, but it wouldn't kill you. It would just. No, sorry, yeah, that might kill him, but some type of like a sleeping
No, the
agent,
sleepy was it was great.
like some type of like anesthesia.
Yeah.
Like he could fart.
Some
I want
super-
anesthetic farts.
super melatonin tryptophan combination.
Anesthetic farts.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They call me
Obviously,
anesthesia
like
man.
You said invisibility. That'd be pretty. But
Yeah, I like
think,
that. That was
honestly,
creative. We could be more creative. That was good, Mikey.
I
What's the
think
creative?
being able
and-
to teleport might be like to just
Oh, yeah.
go from.
You better not teleport into my room.
Well, I feel like whenever I remote view, it's the same thing in a way.
Hey, there you go, dude.
So I could teach you that.
Yeah,
That's
but
in the
it's
realm
like-
of reality. Let's see.
Where it's like, yeah, one of those things.
No entire physical
Where
like
it's like
transportation.
Yeah, where it's like, hey, dude,
Yeah.
we're gonna go on
Like
a road
Jumper.
trip. We're gonna go on a road trip.
I'll see you there.
Nightcrawler just like a
next
oh
week,
super
and it's
X-Men that you
cool,
know that
I'm
the
down
power.
for the road trip there, but then like you spent the whole week there, and then like the last like 2 days, you're thinking, fuck, dude, we gotta drive back 36 fucking
Yep.
hours. Like, and it's like, I wish I could just. And
Teleport.
it's like I dream a genie in my ass. Bing,
Yeah.
right back to fucking.
So
Dallas.
there's a lot of mishaps you could think of from that might
Oh,
happen.
yeah.
Obviously, like
You just
teleporting
end up
into
in,
like
a different
or
time.
teleporting in the middle of like half a building and your body's like cut like. There's a
What
lot
if
of
there
shows
was-
that
what
have
if
done
there
that.
was-
The boys, they've
What if
seen,
there was
you've seen
teleporting
where people
traffic?
trying to teleport through walls
What if it
and
was
they're, like,
teleporting
getting cut up?
traffic and you get caught in a teleportation
go.
traffic
Fucking
jam,
queue.
like almost lag? Yeah, like in a queue. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, those are like PG for ideas.
Hey,
Yeah.
we had mentioned something today. I showed him. This is a random subject. We'll keep
I
going.
can fly.
But no, we. I can fly. No, I saw a video for like a flying car, like
Oh, yeah?
like a hovering car, or whatever. It was like a concept, whatever.
Where'd you see this video?
It was
On the
Sony.
internet.
It was
On
Sony.
social medias?
Yes, but it was
on
like
the
a.
internet.
I believe you. I believe
I think
you.
it was
So
a
tell me
Sony
about-
release
yeah.
video of like a concept.
Video.
Oh, yeah.
But me and Chris were talking about it, and Chris is like, yeah, people can't even fucking drive on the road. Like we're gonna,
No,
But
that
here's
might
the
be
thing I
safer
thought,
for that reason.
But
'cause
time
they-
out.
Get them
But
off the
time
road.
out.
Let them fly
But
around and
time
crash
out.
into each other there.
Time out. Imagine
That
how
would be very
much
dangerous.
worse wrecks and things would be. Because it's like
It
we could
depends
just
on the
be
speed,
chilling, and then
how
all of a
quick they
sudden
can go.
somebody's
The gravity
fucking
falling. Or something.
somebody's Cadillac comes crashing
Yeah,
through your fucking
falling.
ceiling.
Yeah, the technology backfires and it just falls.
Stephanie's Cadillac just
Yeah.
fell through your ceiling.
Yeah.
It would
Like
be
I'm
yeah,
saying-
gravity would be the
Because
thing.
because
They wouldn't be
her
able to go
brother was
fast
driving
enough.
it.
So it wouldn't be like high impact wrecks.
No,
that way
they would
outside
just
of gravity.
fall.
So you would
Stephanie's brother
limit
just
the
wrecked a
damage
flying
by
car
allowing
or-
limiting the height they can go to and how far they can fall from. That's how you control it. I
I
think.
think I would choose to communicate with animals so that I can talk to them.
They made a movie.
Animal
It's actually happened.
communication.
Doctor
She'd
Dolittle.
want to communicate with
I wanna know
animals.
what they have to say.
I
What
want
they
to know
have
what
to
the
say.
people think.
Yeah, that would be a good thing.
I want to know what they talk to.
But what would you? But hang on.
Conversation.
I was
So
trying
you
to
know
think
the-
of next fucking line.
So
Yeah.
So you know the clear mishap with that though.
What are
Clear
these
back-
like
the drawback?
forks?
Is it what if your dog? What if your dog?
da.
What if you realize your dog didn't like you or something, and then you're just always like upset because you're like that bitch.
You know they say that if you eat,
You know what I
dog,
mean?
that dogs
Eat you?
can like sense that.
If you eat a dog,
Is that a good thing? Do they like you or not like you?
No, it's like it's one of those things.
Like the cannibalism, like
Yeah.
it
Where
makes
it's
them like you
if
or not
Really?
like you,
ever-
repellent
if you've
or not.
ever
I didn't know
had-
that.
If you've ever
They
eaten
can,
dog,
like,
Yeah.
they can sense that.
So
you've
would
eaten
would
dog
would you
before.
think it's have a repelling effect or like a inviting effect?
If I could
Ultimately,
smell that you eat people,
I would not want to hang
Well,
out
I'm-
with you.
but-
hanging out with you.
I wouldn't want to be here if I'm
Yeah.
like
you're a
dogs
threat
don't
because
fuck
you know
with
they might eat you.
Yes.
Basically, gotcha.
yes.
Yeah, and they say that dogs can like smell that on people.
Interesting.
Is that, like,
That's pretty
if-
cool.
If people have like eaten dog before, the dogs are like,
So if a dog didn't like someone, that's the only reason, probably why. No,
You know, that would suck,
I'm
though, if
sorry.
you
It's
accidentally-
something to consider. Something to
"They
consider.
are a rapist."
Wow.
And
All
that
right,
was a great
next subject.
conversation.
Next,
Nice. That's
next
beautiful.
subject. We have more topics.
No, we can't do every topic. We have a lot to do.
Come on, people are waiting for this.
Okay, we
Who's
can do
waiting
one more.
for
What's the
what?
one more?
Scroll down.
Scroll
But-
down.
You got.
Okay, we'll have to be rapid fire with these then.
Okay.
We got a lot to get to.
Then just fast track it.
I feel like
That's what I
these-
said,
I feel
so-
like these are about to be oddly specific.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
That is-
That was by Chimichanga.
Chimichanga. Oh, what's
I
the
have an
best-
idea that somebody talked to someone else and
Chimichanga.
concocted a bunch of things. Okay,
This
that's
is-
good.
What's the best piece of
Anything
advice
I've ever told you,
you've
probably.
ever been given?
How many times have I told you things you could pull
Yeah,
from?
well,
I
some
literally everything just came into my mind. I'm like thinking of Matt. I'm like
I'm
Matt.
joking.
Matt.
I'm not a narcissist.
No.
You
Best
should
piece of
probably ask this
advice.
to somebody that I've influenced.
Yeah, Chris is.
Like, that's
Chris
why
is.
I
Chris knows
seriously,
the
I
three.
taught, the most.
The three most humble people.
It was actually five.
Five.
Not to brag, but it was five. The 5 most humble people I know, I taught them all humility.
I stay humble.
What's the best
I'm
piece
most
of
humble. I
advice
don't
you've
like
ever
to
been
brag
given?
about it.
That's a
Trying to-
good one.
Yeah, no, I have to think.
It's probably some piece of advice that I don't use, but I'll probably.
Okay, I want to
I'm
give
in my,
parameters, and that's something you've learned,
70s.
but something an individual has
That's what
actually
I'm saying,
told you
has to
in
told me,
person.
yes.
Yeah, and actually
I
told
had
you this.
somebody tell me it was more. It was in the whole context of something, but pretty much saying that the whole gist of it was that just because one individual or somebody did you wrong or whatever, that to not let that that I have a light or whatever inside me, and to not let that put that that one experience, for me to not let that one experience dull my light or whatever, just because this person did me wrong. It's because I shouldn't rob myself of experience because I let one person fuck me out of happiness in one situation or something. It's
But don't
let that do it.
maybe do like that. Do you know what how they might have said it? Can you remember?
I have
was it-
a whole. It was because it was in the whole context of something, and it was in a letter.
Okay, I got you.
And so, but the whole context was that something had happened in my life by someone,
Yeah.
and somebody wrote me a letter, and that was what was in there by a loved one. And then it was
That's
pretty
really
much
cool.
just saying that,
That's powerful.
just because that they said that they admired me and that they didn't want to see me take a path in life of being upset or jaded because this happened to me, that you just have to take it in stride and keep going.
That's good. Man, you have any luck thinking about it, Chris? I'm just trying to pinpoint a conversation where I can
It's hard
identify it.
because it's like I know everything already.
Right? I know.
So
dude.
when
It's
somebody
tough.
gives me
It's
advice,
tough being this. When you're born enlightened, it's
There's
tough.
this humility again. It just
You don't
shines.
pick if you're born enlightened. You don't pick it.
His
It's just
humility just exudes.
it's like you're
himself.
touched, but in the good way. It's
Yeah, I was touched by an angel years
I'm
ago.
trying to think of a piece of advice I was amused by.
had to be very young before I was.
remember
A piece of advice I heard
Let's
that
see.
wasn't necessarily given to me that I think is incredibly valuable is control what you can
Yeah.
control.
Yeah, don't take yourself so seriously,
Yeah, don't
But I'm just
sweat
trying
the
to think of
small
something.
stuff,
Yeah,
like
that's like
things like that.
basic.
What
People say
it
about
wasn't.
you is not your business.
Or
you
it
go.
says, what Susie says about Sally says more about Susie than Sally.
Yeah.
Not. It wasn't
Don't-
necessarily advice.
Don't do amphetamines
Well,
on a rainy
is
day.
this something that you know?
No, I'm not.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that's
Lawrence Taylor. Don't smoke crack.
yeah.
that was a good one.
That was-
No, I can
that
think
was
of a lot of
probably-
advice. I guess my problem. I'm trying to think of good advice that I feel like I actually didn't have any. It opened my mind to thinking about. I literally didn't have any. I didn't think that way already. Because you can be told things. It's like that is good advice, but you already
Time
kind of
out.
acted that way. I'm trying to think of something that opened my
Did-
mind.
time
I
out real
literally
quick.
didn't think that way before.
Did Paw ever say anything inspirational to
he
you
said
at work?
All kinds of shit.
They're like,
Matthew,
don't
did
get caught.
Commander Powell or
So it's
something
like
say
you
anything
don't-
inspirational to you, or Commander Burns?
Yeah, you don't want to cut the penis when you're field dressing a deer. That's one.
Okay, no, that's
Anybody
good. It doesn't
now?
have to be life changing.
You
It
have
could
to
be
No.
simple.
identify
It could be
if you have a
simple.
buck, you don't
Could be
wanna cut
simple.
that's what Matthew's going to say if you ask him about Commander Powell.
It could be simple. I'm trying to overcomplicate. So what's simple?
Papa said that. What were his exact words? He was like, "A motel room ain't no place to be fucking around
Why-
with no dope." Like,
Like,
that was
I can
like-
think of
that was
stuff
some
that you're
Papa
told, but
fucking-
I'd be pulling
Something what?
analogies. I could think that for you and your mom and sweeping and stuff like that.
yeah, inch by inch.
Inch by inch is life's a
That's
cinch.
cinch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What some of it life's hard or whatever,
By
or
the yard.
by the yard life is hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like one wasn't necessarily a advice that somebody
Yeah, I
gave
know.
me, but something I read, in a Mark McYoung book where it was funny because it's like one of those things that you kind of already knew, but then he said it, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh fuck, yeah. And it was advice that somebody gave to him was that it's like you can figure anything out if you look at it long enough, and it's like.
Yeah. Okay. Oh.
And
I got one.
I'll apply that to
I got one.
even looking at
What is it?
Something you don't understand where it's like find an aspect of it you do and work backwards.
Yeah. I got one. It's really good because it's actually it's like something and it's like it's almost like in your mind you discount it because but you don't actually process
It's
it.
the Rosetta
So,
Stone
and it's
that-
something you said recently, and it's like something obvious, but like maybe a month or so ago, it's like
Coleslaw
nothing.
shit.
No, because I would keep working and trying to solve a problem, say, but doing it so much to literally not let yourself rest and breathe and like do anything else because you feel like there's a deadline or like if you don't do it, it's like
Yeah.
time is so precious in this
Yes.
regard. That I think Chris said something to the effect of like nothing you can do over the next 30 minutes is going to change anything on the outcome like of this specific problem. We're not going to talk
Yeah.
about things actually like, oh, someone's about to
Yeah,
die.
whatever
you
the
know how to
problem
apply
is.
that too. So, but there's a lot of problems in life that if you actually just take a few hours or take a day to breathe, it's not going to change at all. Like, and if
Yeah.
anything, you might help
It's
you
3:30
get
in
to
the
the
morning,
solution.
I can't
Bro.
even call customer service.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Why
it's
am I
like,
gonna?
It's almost like he's like, hey man,
Give
don't
yourself
worry
time
about
to
it.
calm down.
Nothing you do for the rest of the night is gonna help you get
Yeah,
any
it's
closer
like-
to solving the problem. Take a breath.
Yeah. And it's pretty much just like the same as like don't let the fact that you have to go to work tomorrow ruin your ability to enjoy the night and what you're
Yes.
doing right now. Because really, what are you doing? It's like that's when you get up in the morning. It's like, oh, you immediately think what all you have to do during the day, but it's like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? You're laying in the bed. You're not
Yeah.
doing. You don't have. It's
Li-
like just
living
like
in the
it said
moment.
again. That's what you just said. Life, inch by inch, life's a cinch. Yard by yard, life is hard. And so it's
inch
like
by
if
inch
you
being like
just
living
wake
now
up,
in the immediate versus
if you wake
yard,
up
you're
and
thinking
just
too far in the future.
if you just wake up and slowly do it and go make your coffee and do your thing and go
That's
about
the
it.
trick. That's why it's important to work night shift.
Yeah.
Work night
Exactly.
shift.
Wake up when you want.
All right,
Yeah.
what's the next one? Let's keep moving
No,
right
that's
along.
good. No, that's
next
good.
one. Is there another one? There's one
Okay,
more.
wait. We can do one more. What's the most important
One more.
Actually, no.
We can do
we'll all-
as many more as we need to.
I agree.
Stephanie.
I
How
agree.
many people are?
How
if
many-
people
how many
are
are there?
emailing us? How
Actually,
many?
I agree. How many were there?
Yeah.
Let's scroll. What is the next
Okay,
one?
what was the best piece
That
of
was
advice? What's the next
chimichanga.
one?
Nice.
I'll read this one.
Here we go.
Oh, okay.
What do you know or think about the Pope opening portals into the Vatican on Christmas Eve?
Shit.
Christmas?
I'm gonna say this much.
News to me.
Did you ask
but I'm
that
not
question,
surprised.
Stephanie?
I'm gonna say this much.
Why would you think I
Rocky
have that
P.
question?
Rocky
I don't
P.
know, because you're sitting here very intently and you used to work at a cafe.
Okay, well we're gonna research a little
Well,
bit.
time out. Hang on. Hang on.
See what happened.
Well, he asked us. Hang on. Rocky P. asked us
Not the same.
what we think about
So let's
it.
say I'm being educated. I didn't know about it. So
I know,
apparently on
but-
Christmas Eve, Pope Francis opened the Holy Door at St. Peter's Basilica, whatever. Open the Holy Door. Holy Door is the ceremonial door that is normally bricked up, but is open to mark the start of the Jubilee. So it sounds like a tradition that dates back.
Yes.
So
yes.
if
He
it's
did
some-
this.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go
Oh
ahead.
yeah. I'm just as I learn about it, I don't. It sounds like something they. It's not new. At least it sounds like.
He did this. There's this video of him with this like big weird staff, and he goes up to the door, and
Yeah.
there's this whole everything that they do is opulent, and it's a big performance. And then
it's
he
social
takes the
media is
staff.
actually- yeah.
When he
okay.
takes his staff, and it's got this big weird thing on the end, and he's like 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, and of course he hit it 3 times or something, and so there's a significance.
Yeah.
Because 3 times 6 and this and what I don't know.
Okay. No. I'm,
Potentially, but I will say this. Hell, I don't know. I haven't. It said, "What do you think?" / know about it. We don't technically know much about it. Other than just hearing that
Yeah.
I had seen what the performance. I saw the ceremony, but I didn't even connect or think that it's opening a portal,
Yeah.
but now I understand. I understand, and I honestly, I would have to say my knee jerk reaction, gut feeling, probably don't think it's them necessarily opening a portal, but it's just them doing typically their weird stuff that they do.
Yeah, that's
they're
what I'm about to
weird,
say. It's what I think. I think a lot of people are being. We live in a time where things
Yeah.
are broadcast and shown. But if you look up the history of the Catholic Church and all sorts of stuff, they have. I'm not saying I'm not hating on it. But I'm
No,
just
but
saying
their
if you look-
traditions are-
If you look
they
up
can
traditions
appear to
and
be
things
odd.
and or if you look up a lot of religions,
Yes.
they have
Yes.
traditions where they do stuff in line with this to
Yes.
where they've been doing it for centuries, and we happen to live in a time where social media broadcasts it and young people aren't educated
One,
to know
two-
about it. But I don't think it's
No.
I mean, yeah,
I
I think it's
wouldn't
probably something they've been
necessarily-
doing. It's just
I would say
Yeah.
about a portal being open, it was probably, if anything, it could have been done with CERN back in 2012 when they were colliding
yeah.
particles. But
so. Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's an opportunity for people to see
Yeah.
it and then don't learn about that. Learn about the Catholic. Learn about the Church. Learn the history of it. To
Yeah, absolutely.
To educate yourself and not just take it at face value. To be
No.
like, okay, has it something that they've been done? Is it like, or some, if it's some brand new thing that the Church hasn't done historically, I would be like, okay, I would be more interested about that. But if it's something they've
Yeah.
been doing, it's almost like it's just being educated.
yeah, no, and I would have to say
Or not
that,
educated, but learning.
that I don't. Yeah, I would have to think. I didn't know much about it. I'll have to look into
No,
it
neither
now.
did I.
Now you've intrigued me. You had
Yeah.
my you know you had my
Exactly.
interest. Now you have my attention.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to look into that more. But
Yeah.
because I might maybe I'm going to learn something.
Exactly. So that's good. Let's see. Let's keep going here. Is that? I think that was the last one.
Was that the last one?
I'm going through.
Dude, this is a
emails.
lot.
Yeah. It was good.
That was a lot. That was a lot.
Did we miss anything?
We're getting engagement, guys.
Yeah.
We're getting engagement.
That's great. Thank you.
This is amazing.
Art Nord and Bird.
You were trying to cut it off.
Chimichanga.
You can't
No, yeah, I'm evolving. I'm growing and thinking about things in real time.
This was great. This was fantastic.
Yeah, no, that's going to be your reaction. But that's fine.
This was fantastic. How do I get this thing to stay?
This is exciting for me. I'm excited about the interacting.
Yes, and that's what I was realizing. That's what I was like. Wait, this is what I've been trying to do. My wife is actually interested in my podcast for once.
Yeah, this was
She knows it, but I found a way to get you interested. It's great. I love it.
Who's winning here?
It's not winning. That's the problem. It's not winning.
And you turn them down every time. So
But this is a way to where I don't have a choice. Like whatever the email gets, we're gonna read it and not know. We literally don't have a choice. So don't. That's the power. But we're gonna have a framework,
power.
and if we're gonna have a framework, and if we start getting enough, we can't. We're not gonna just. Okay, my wife is like, oh, there. She finds a way to just make everyone. We're gonna be smart, but it's good. We found a way. This is beautiful.
We need to be on the lookout for the pugs writing a suggestion for more
Art,
treats.
We need Art and Word to do more. So that's good. All right, let's see. So, topic suggestion.
Topics.
That's great. So, next on the docket, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
All
I think we're back.
We are. We are
Perchance,
here.
possibly, yeah.
We're
We're still
here.
here. So, I'm gonna ask you to do me a favor. Be two gentlemen. Fine, you can read pretty well. This week in history, we got some interesting stuff. I can start off December 22nd, 856. This goes back far. Some great damn Gann earthquake. One of the deadliest earthquakes in the recorded history stuck near Dam Gann in Persia, present-day Iran, December 22nd. That's a long time ago. Who's got this next one here? Let's see.
That's Mikey's.
What? Dostoevsky, narrow escape.
So, yeah.
Don't you have a couple of Dostoevsky?
1849? No.
Yeah, 1849 famed Russian author Fyodor Dostoevsky arrested for his involvement in a literary political group.
Interesting.
Was subjected to mock execution on December 22nd. He was lined up before a firing squad, only to be granted a last-minute reprieve. The
It's probably a
trauma
movie
deeply
making this.
influenced his late works, including Crime and Punishment.
There we go. This one's, 1882, Chris? What happened here?
The first electrical Christmas fire.
There we go.
No,
The Christmas lights.
1882, the first electrical.
Yeah,
Christmas
you don't have to read
lights.
the whole thing if you don't want to. It's
Yeah,
up to you.
Thomas Edison's colleague Edward H. Johnson.
Yeah,
whom
a bunch
Edison
of Christmas
later
lights.
Stole the idea from
Yeah, that's cool. 1894, the Dreyfus Affair begins.
Richard Dreyfuss.
I don't
has
know
been
about it.
around-
That's that.
been
Okay,
around that long?
1968, Apollo 8 heads to the moon. Well, not bizarre user sense is certainly unprecedented. That's cool. Okay, this one was interesting. 1888, December 23rd, Vincent van Gogh's ear incident. So I guess that's when his ear was cut off.
When he cut his
And he
ear off.
presented it to a local woman in a nearby brothel. That's pretty fascinating. I was
I
kind
feel
of familiar
like
with
if
that.
UNT was around then,
Oh, here we go,
would've
Mikey.
gone
This
there.
is all you love. This one, 1913. The Federal Reserve was born.
There you go.
that's
It's
the
day
yeah
they
the
fucked
monster
us.
from Jekyll Island.
Yeah,
Isn't that where it was at? Where they, yeah,
yeah.
they all took the train to Jekyll. Damn,
Mikey,
that's
what
today.
was
They had
this?
A whole bunch of bullshit.
Mikey, I think this one is good for you.
1972, The Immaculate Reception,
Oh,
considered
fucking
one of the
Franco
wildest
Harris.
plays in American football history. The Pittsburgh Steelers Franco Harris caught the last second deflected pass on December 23rd, 1972, resulting in a miraculous touchdown. Sports fans still debate whether it was truly a fair catch.
Yeah.
I think it was.
So let's see. I'll just see if anything really interesting happened. That might be it. Let's see. Yeah, no standard tracking.
Oh, you
Apollo
missed
8.
one on number 11, I think.
I mean, that was that worth
Or-
talking about.
No.
Oh. Yeah, that happened. Yeah, let's see. William the Conqueror, Crown King, birth of Isaac Newton. Yeah, so that's cool. That's enough.
Oh,
That's
that's the one we just talked about last week.
yeah. I knew this is Emu
The
Wars that
Christmas
happened.
trees. No.
Oh yeah. We talked about that last week. That's that
Yeah,
makes sense that it kind of arched over. So that was this week in history. Also, I know. Moving on to the next thing.
Gorbachev resigned this week in 91. It's crazy.
Chris is all about Gorbachev. All right, so that was this week in history. We'll find more interesting. You know, it's you never know what happens. But so moving on, this week's movie we had a sign. 1957 was the year that we found. So we each watched some movies. So which one did you watch? Did you wanted to?
You can go
You like
ahead, and I'll go after you.
Let's see. So I watched The Paths of Fear. Let's see. The Stanley Kubrick one. Let's see. Oh, I'll just say The Bridge on the River Kwai is the one that stuck because I was very familiar with it, and
That's one that Pops had. That's one of them fucking
yeah,
3 cassette.
yeah, it's like almost 3 hours long, but it tells. Yeah, it was really good. There's dealt with like Japanese in that there's a POW camp where they had them to rebuild that bridge, but the production I think it is like very Academy Award, and did very well. So
Yeah, it's crazy like how like visually pleasing so many of those like movies from that era were.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like I said, what's the one? Once Upon a Time in the West, where it's like so little dialogue. in
Yeah.
Such a long movie, but
Yeah.
just the cinematography and the locations and just like how visually pleasing all of it is.
yeah,
like,
no, it definitely speaks to it.
it's crazy.
It's nice to go back and just the exercise. So
Yeah.
what's one that you watched, Mikey?
I watched. I enjoyed watching just a movie that was up my alley. Because I really hadn't seen a lot of movies from
Yeah.
1957, and it's hard to watch. A bunch. So it's like really
Yeah,
I watched
just
like
if you just
2.
want- yeah,
but the
same
one
here.
that I watched was The Undead from 1957, and it's about like a modern day prostitute who's sent back in time or something, and like it's like she relives her past life or something, or either way.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, but they're trying her to be a witch, so it's like an early sci-fi horror movie, and I to me I found it on Tubi.
What?
And
What you found it where?
on Tubi, and so I was
be
like,
damned.
I saw the cover art to me stood out as being compelling. I was like, that looks cool. They always say don't judge a book by its cover, but I say fuck that.
Sometimes that's the best way.
Yeah, fuck all that. Don't
Yeah,
judge
it's
a
for
book.
real.
But I get it. Like, yes, you're right.
Sometimes
Yeah,
that's
but
exactly how you
sometimes
should
it's
do it.
like some book covers match the fucking badass good book.
Yeah.
Or the good movie, and it's like that movie was. I picked it because it's cover, and I was like, "What is this?" And I read the description, and it was like, I'm like, "Wait, they wrote a movie or made a movie in 1957 about a prostitute that
Yeah.
gets sent back in time to
pretty
medieval
compelling,
times, and they burn as a witch."
Yeah.
And it's like they did it via hypnosis, so I was
Yeah.
like, I mean,
That was
I'm in,
cool,
I'll
man.
watch it.
Yeah, no.
So they hypnotized a prostitute, and yeah, you'll have to tune in to see what happened to her.
Yeah. No, that was cool. Yeah, now you kind of showed me that's Roger Corman. I know he's had a history like kind of the king of B movies of that era. It was kind of cool because I'm familiar with them, but I don't. Roger Corman, like he was like a guy who was that era. Just I guess the productions like it was like a B movie. It was like a B movie at the time, but so that's cool. Like they found that one, and the other one I watched that'd be worth mentioning. People should check out The Seventh Seal.
Yeah.
Is that
I still haven't watched that one.
Bergman. It's
I
like
know-
a foreign. It's a foreign movie, black and white, but it deals with like that guy's like a knight or something playing a game of chess with death, and like there's a whole other narrative kind of occurs, but that's like the starting premise, and it's definitely it's like a Criterion type movie that people watch. It's
Yeah.
worth checking out, but it can be kind of tough to get through. Just
Yeah, it's on a list
it's
of
still
like
good.
great movies or like
Yeah,
must
it's
watch. It's on a
important.
list of like must watch movies. I've seen a handful of lists that movie's been on, and I still haven't watched it. But
Yeah,
I
it
should
can
have.
kind of be tough to get through, but it's
Yeah.
like the exercise of trying to recognizing the importance and like
The influence and the impact it had
Yeah.
just on movies in general.
yeah. So yeah, those are the ones. So 957. Let's see.
Yeah, and it was a
it.
good year, like we said, just in the sense that it was an interesting year because, like, if you go look at it, there's some movies that were in black and white and
Yes.
some movies that were in color. So it's kind of that is around that time when they were, some were, still with the old stuff of black and white, and some were on the quote cutting edge.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Yeah, again, just the year in general. There's like what you're saying was interesting because Technicolor, that was like
Yeah.
Technicolor innovations. So you saw some films that embraced it or just become in color.
That's like what I think of. Like when I think of like Bridge Over the River Kwai is like because that one was in color, wasn't it?
Yes. Oh yeah.
that-
It was.
and
It was
that
very
super,
color. Yeah.
Like
It would look
was
like
almost-
a
it
more
was
modern. Look
strange.
like it was. You saw
But it
some
was
movies that look like they're way
Yeah.
older, and that looked like it was ahead of its time. So
but
it was just
like-
cool.
But it was damn near like Wizard of Oz colors.
Yeah, and
Like,
these
they were
came out
going
that
on
year
that.
too. I didn't even realize. 310 to Yuma.
310 to Yuma. Yeah,
Gonna Fight the OK
I didn't
Corral?
watch it. I saw.
No,
I
yeah.
should have, but
No,
I
yeah,
saw
and
it
it's
was
cool.
on
We
there.
didn't even watch these, but just some that were like we familiar. It's like that's been remade. It's really good.
12 Angry Men.
Yeah, 12 Angry Men. Definitely good. It's crazy. It was stuff that came out. 12 Angry. We've got Paths of Glory. That's the other one. Stanley Kubrick, Kirk Douglas. We're
That was
checking
the
it.
one they remade with Will Ferrell, right? Where he was the ice skater.
Yes.
Yes, that's the one. And so yeah, let's see. Paul Newman was kind of discovered that year. Sidney Poitier was discovered that year. So yeah.
They call me
A lot of important stuff.
Mr. Tubes.
But yeah, so let me quickly get the random number. Pick next week's thing. Let's see, random. I just put it in the Google thing. Pick a year between 2000. Let's see, 1950 and 2000. I'll figure it out. Let's see. Oh, that's right. I did this last week. We found that one. Should I pull that? Let's see. Yeah, it's what none of these are in there. Let's just pick one so we don't.
1742.
I was
Yep.
about to say that should be a pretty easy list. The best movies from 1742.
Let's see.
What was Columbus watching?
Columbus. I think he was making every single movie at that year. Let's see. From 1950. We'll just pick there, right?
Why don't you
Yeah,
go
to 2000.
57?
Yeah, we'll just see what it gives us if we haven't seen it. Okay, generate. Oh, it's doing them here? Okay. Let's do it.
73.
73.
Boom.
1973. So we'll see throughout the week what came out there, and we'll see what we have to talk about.
73 it is.
Yep. So what do you want to tell me right now? Tell me anything. There's a beautiful pug next to you. I know you like to always thank me for the gift of the pug, but it's just so funny because every time it's like it really was just like she was in a she couldn't though she didn't have an environment to give her all the love she gets now.
Yeah.
And what she's changed, the power of the pug. I mean, what I see it manifest in your family, and it's crazy. I didn't expect to see it manifest how it did. I feel like there's an explosion of love and engagement in this with your parents and your sister and the gifts that just tell us some of the gifts that this dog got for Christmas.
Oh, she got some. She got a couple little chew toys, but they were
That shirt? No, she had a little outfit.
Oh yeah,
and
she had
everything.
a shirt. She had a shirt and the chew toys.
Yeah, it was amazing.
But her little shirt,
I love
she
the
liked
pug.
it.
Yeah.
She liked her chew toys. They might as well have been a car to her.
Yeah,
She was
that's the
happy with them little
puggage.
toys.
Just the puggage.
She was even happier when she got to go home and just sleep.
Oh yeah,
We
yeah.
were 3 minutes onto the road and she was on my lap.
Well,
asleep.
look at her now. Look at look at that.
We were driving 3 minutes down 20 and she was asleep.
Look at that.
On my lap within 3 minutes. She was crashed out.
Yeah, she's like, I'm ready for
Why
sleep,
so
Dad.
Sleepy? Why are you so sleepy? Yeah, and then she like farted or something at one point. Chris like, where's that smell?
He's like, what do you think it
Like,
is?
that's that pug.
The potent power of the pug.
Yeah, she tried to. She has a neurotoxin type fart.
Yeah, it's like I imagine her little metabolism and how much she runs around that's processing stuff, and it's making a very rich, a very powerful toxin.
Can you look up 3 minutes for a dog?
Yeah, what is that?
Just look up 3 minutes for a dog. I think you'll find it interesting because it's something it would have never been on my map without you. I want to get the book and read it. I want to get the book and read it, but you'll have to just look that up and then look up the guy who wrote it. And then look up the dude who wrote it, The Life or whatever.
Next for dog, my life in an iron lung.
Yeah, read about the guy. Because you were the one that one episode you brought up an iron lung. You talked about like if what else would you do?
Recently and shit. But let's see. So
That's
some of these things I pick on with the
no. Just click on the Wikipedia. You said there was a guy in Dallas recently that what?
Yeah, or there was like one of the most famous iron lung guys. He actually lived from Dallas in the 40s, 50s. Like this kid, because I don't remember which disease. It was like polio or something that would, so he was like, got to elementary school and got this disease that basically paralyzed him, and he lived in iron lung for like the rest of his life. But he was from North Texas.
Mm-hmm.
It was like crazy. So let's see.
So click on the go up to far right author Paul Alexander. Just click on that.
There we go. Let's see. Okay.
Now scroll down. Look what it says. Top right.
Paul Richard Alexander was an American paralytic
Scroll-
polio survivor, lawyer and writer. Last man who lived in iron lung. Contracted polio in 52 at age 6. Oh, this might be the guy.
It is. That's why I told you to pull it up. But he wrote a book. He wrote a book, 3 minutes for a dog.
Yeah, man. See, that's cool because
Mhm.
the power of knowing the perspective of the guy, the author wrote it.
Mhm.
Like the world
Yeah.
he lived in, the depth of.
Yeah, because he
book.
read
Man, so
like,
that
if
makes
you look it up, he read like he read some
No, he got
ridiculous amount of
degrees. He
books.
got
Yeah.
multiple degree- like, 'cause
Yeah.
you think
What else do you do?
either give up or
Yeah.
you do the most you can possibly do.
From
You
what you can
maximize
do.
what you
Yeah.
I think he was like a law. He did a ton of stuff.
Yeah, he got like a law degree. I believe you're right. He
Yeah.
passed like the bar exam.
Let's see. I know he did a ton. So it's his self-published memoir is called 3 Minutes for a Dog: My Life in an Iron Lung. So that was his own memoir. Yeah, dude, that's cool. I mean, it's
yeah.
beautiful. Because actually, I think we talked about this.
We didn't talk about this. We talked
About
about
him, though. But yeah, didn't we?
No, we talked about an iron lung. We didn't talk about the book or this. That's why.
The book. I know we didn't talk about the book.
No, because you said something about like you might have mentioned something about like one of the last guys to live in one was in doubt. But yeah, he was like the last person to be. He died not all that long ago, I think,
Yeah.
or maybe.
He became a lawyer in 1986.
Yeah, he died. Yeah, he died this
And he's a
year.
practicing lawyer. That's
Yeah, he died this year.
Yeah, this is crazy. Like,
Yeah.
it just seems so like archaic. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, an iron lung, man. The Radiohead had that. Yeah, there's my iron lung. It's good stuff.
Yeah, but it was like I figured I would. I just realized that he wrote a book. I know you had
We
mentioned
should
something
definitely
about.
both read that book.
I know you had mentioned something about an iron lung or whatever, and I was like, well, shoot, that dude lived in Dallas.
Yeah, no. We should.
Hey, no.
Hey, what are you doing? Okay. We gotta do some pug management.
Fucking concrete that he needed,
Yeah.
and
Quick,
like he was
concrete,
building
yeah.
this retaining wall. And
Was he a
fucking-
crackhead?
No, he's just a regular fucking dude that had
Yeah.
bought a house, and he had a fucking washed out piece
Yeah.
on the back of his property that he's like, I need to build this retaining wall. So rather than building the fucking retaining
They
wall,
just stacked them and
he
soaked
just
them.
stacked the fucking bags
Yeah, soaked
of
them.
concrete and sprayed them down or whatever. And then,
I mean-
of course, when he uploaded it online, everybody's like, oh, that's a violation. You can't do that.
Well, you just think
So
about
then
FEMA and
OSHA,
disaster
like-
relief. It's like
Well,
a
no, but of
the
course,
low
people
man
start,
shit. Yeah.
People start, you know,
Yeah, I think
like
it's real,
commenting once it went like viral.
Yeah.
People started commenting, and then he starts getting like, if he had just done it and nobody ever knew about it, nobody would have cared. But it worked. The bags hardened up, and it actually turned out to be just fine. And over
Yeah.
time, the shit is gonna like
Yeah.
wash away.
He's
but
like-
he literally just
He's like, I'm a
took the
genius,
bags,
guys. Just admit it.
Stuck them up,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, it's like
weighted
the-
them down.
It's like the kind. I think that's somewhat of a common practice in some places. Like that's
Yeah.
not. It's it's not really. It's
Yeah.
Third
It's a
world
smart way.
countries, I'm sure they probably.
Oh yeah, they probably have some even better practices. You know.
But it's like honestly,
You work
too,
with what you
though,
got.
It's like if you drive past like construction sites and shit like that, you'll
you
see.
get whistled at.
Well, no, where you will get whistled at, but where you'll see they've had like materials laid out for a while, where it's like bags of concrete.
It makes me
Get
think on the
rained
way
and
back.
shit.
You should always try and gank a couple things from a construction site when you're driving home late at night. I'm
There you
joking.
go.
Don't do that. So
get
Mikey.
you some nails. All
See,
right, so yeah,
you used to be able
Yeah.
to do that. Now they got all the fucking little.
I know. I'm
portable-
joking. Never steal.
They got all the little portable things.
Yeah.
Out
yeah. You
there.
used to be able to steal wood for your bike ramp.
Yeah, it's like
So yeah, we watched a movie last night that came out recently. It's pretty good. It was a recommendation for me. It was a recommendation from Jeff, but Matt had already heard of it,
Jeff.
and
Yeah.
I don't know. He's a guy we knew.
In it,
Where's
yeah. Who knows who he is? I love
We
him.
don't
I
know where
hope I
he's at.
see him again. I'm glad he recommended it to you guys because I watched it and I really enjoyed it, but I
Yeah.
didn't think to bring it up. You know, and I just found it scrolling on my pirate site. And like, why? I feel like I read about it a little while ago, but I didn't know. I didn't
Much
read
about it.
research about it, so I watched it and I was like, "This is
Not
pretty
bad.
entertaining. This is pretty spot on." But so tell me,
No, it's just it was a
so
funny
it's
movie.
called
They did it.
Y2K.
Yeah, they did a good
Yeah.
job of capturing the mainly just the generation, not the night.
Yeah,
it
well,
was
what's
all
the, like,
based
premise?
off of.
So
it's
it's
all
take-
based off of the night of Y2K. Going into 2000 from '99,
Yeah.
and the ball drop, New Year's, all
like,
that. And
But
then-
do you know like
but then you
what
know,
the whole like what the whole
So-
fear was actually like
so
during that
the
time like with the
actual-
computers
the
like I do
actual
but do you know
fear.
like what it was exactly?
Yeah, that like they wouldn't be able to process the switching from like
so they didn't know what it was gonna do.
Yeah,
where
whenever
was
it went
like,
over-
No,
like
yeah.
an
No, yeah.
odometer rolling over where they would go 999, and then when it rolled over to 0, they weren't sure.
Yeah, because
If
they
it
had all
was
this
just
shit
gonna
programmed
continue
not with 4 digits.
going.
They just had 99 instead of 1999, and so yeah, that was
And
it.
then when it rolled over to 0,
But it's
they
so big
weren't sure if it
because
was
I
gonna
just know you're a few
reset.
years younger, so I was always wondered. But so you knew it was that.
Yeah.
Exact- So it was interesting, I guess that, and it's fine. It didn't matter that component of it. I don't think was brought up at all. It's just, which is fine. It's
No,
not
it
really
really
relevant. It was just
wasn't.
about shit going to haywire.
'Cause, yeah, we were just all afraid.
Uh,
Yeah,
that
but what?
everything.
But the
computer-wise
movie,
was kinda
so-
shut down.
Like, what
Yeah.
did you like the most? Like, what was a standout point of the movie? I felt like it nailed Mikey.
I mean, it was just.
You
all
brought up
the-
every time you saw puka shells.
No, yeah, they saw him a few times, and I was just like, yeah, it just reminded me of the whole trend and everything, and the Abercrombie shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was just a dose of nostalgia. It was funny. It's funny to
It's
think
the
that we're old
execution
enough.
of it, though, right?
It's funny to think that we're old enough to, you know, be at that point where they're making movies about our childhood, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember
Yeah, it's
that.
like, damn, am I 40? Wait, I am
You know.
40.
Yeah, I was just pleased they dropped in the suck it point at some part. They dropped
Dude, yeah,
in the
and that's the
DX
Took
thing.
a
suck it.
while, but it's in there.
I
'Cause
was like,
you see
okay, if they don't
nostalgia
drop
trips.
suck it in there, then
No, you
this
called
isn't-
at the end. It was funny you
Yeah.
said that because it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I was
because
pumped up.
you see a lot of movies that do nostalgia and you're used to it, you know. But
Yeah.
I feel like
When it's
Kyle
super,
Mooney,
like, just
the
like
director, I feel like they
campy
nailed it,
and
you know?
just
Yeah.
not-
the subtleties of. And you see clothing, but literally, like as far as it being a comedy, the director Kyle Mooney, he was in it. He was the funniest character probably.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Dread guy.
Yeah, Kyle Mooney was hilarious.
Well, it's like the
He
There's
was the best.
No, what's shit.
there's a meme of like that literally shows it where it's like what people think growing up, like what an iconic 80s bedroom would look like.
Oh yeah, and what it actually
versus
looked
an
like.
actual, you know, and it's like the icon, like what
Well,
you
yeah.
think in the movie is like the fucking, you know, the crazy paint and all that, and it's like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
literally just a wood panel. And I feel like that's what you're talking about. Is a lot of times movies that try to capture.
Yeah, they
that time
modernize
period
it and
will
they
go
like sensationalize it into some
over the
version that
top,
wasn't
and
that.
It's like, no, actually, in the 80s, our bedrooms were just
Yeah.
fucking wood paneling with a couple of like
Yeah,
shitty book fair posters on the wall.
But so, yeah, it was
They
a good
really
movie.
did capture.
Yeah.
When I say that
that,
just came out, yeah, I
like,
just feel like it's definitely
It didn't
surprised
feel
me.
campy.
No, it was good. It was you know, it was a good movie. A lot of good things about it. A lot of good quality.
We had a good
Definitely
time.
should check it out. It's definitely worth watching because A24 does not miss.
Oh, that
They-
was an A24 movie.
Was it
I
really?
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was like a rare for. I feel like I can't. How many comedies have they actually? They're robust.
Mhm.
They're robust.
There's a great cameo.
No. Yep.
I
Oh
don't know
yeah,
if that's
fantastic
actually in the-
cameo.
I don't think that's actually in the previews or not.
Probably
I don't
not.
think
It
so.
is.
I don't think
Or it
so.
could be,
I think it was
but-
I mean,
Yeah,
I've seen
there's
preview.
No, yeah, all the characters they did a good job of really
Yeah.
just capturing all of the different personality archetypes that existed in the early 2000s.
Yep.
Like, you know, the one dude that was the rapper guy that was trying to be, you know, against the
Conscious
mainstream
hip-hop.
Yeah.
against the
The conscious
mainstream,
flow.
you know, music industry.
Weak flow.
Weak flow. He was, you know, they captured that guy. They captured the typical sports jock douchebag. They got the metalhead guy.
The nut tag.
Yeah,
It's
the
a
nut
bunch
tap.
Yeah, the nut
Yeah.
tag is fucking
They got you know, they pretty much nailed every, like I said, every like archetype from that
stealing
era.
40s from the gas station.
Yeah.
Like that was, early on.
Those are
that
the
was like one of the
subtleties.
early scenes in the movie.
And
where
that was the
they're,
beauty. It's like the
stealing
nut tag
40s
is like a
and
perfect thing.
it's
It's so
like,
subtle. It's like
Mhm.
people think that's
Yeah.
funny. It was like, but that was a thing. That's
just
The
like,
nut tap. Yeah.
like
Titty
fucking
twist.
giving somebody a
And then
fucking
homie,
twister.
them calling everybody homie.
oh yeah,
The
yeah,
homie. The
I s-
homie.
I still call everybody homie.
Oh, that was so good.
Oh man. Yeah, no, it was good, man. It's
No,
definitely something you got to check out.
Yeah.
It was like, it didn't feel like you said where it's like somebody's like, oh, we need to capture all the thing, and, you know, and so it's like formulaic that it's like
Yeah.
this happened then and this happened then, so we'll do all these things, and it's
Yeah.
like no,
You can tell
like,
the
you were
director was
around
literally
then.
lived through that
Yeah.
and just
Like
all
when
the
it
funny
showed
shit he
the-
wanted to bring up that he did,
Well-
and that is the beauty of it.
Or
Yeah.
when it literally showed kind of the scene of it going through the party
Yeah.
and all the
party
all
scene
the
they use it
different
perfectly.
groups
Yeah.
of
Bow,
you
bow,
know, where it
now,
was
bow,
like
bow, bow,
they were all-
now.
Yeah.
With the
all
little
the
corners.
fucking
of-
Oh, dude.
potheads,
Yeah.
you know, it was like,
Yeah.
and, you
Just-
know, you had
just the-
every different clip
the youth
that
of
was
that
at
of
this
the
party,
It was represented
you know,
perfectly. Yeah.
and it seriously was.
But yeah.
It was a
So it was
nice
good.
trip down memory lane. It was done well.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
Hats off to old Kyle Mooney.
Yes, sir.
That was a funny one.
A24
Need to
didn't
go
miss on
see.
that one, Jeff.
Probably, hopefully by tomorrow or
Go
Monday,
give him
I'm
a
gonna go
dollar.
see Nosferatu.
Oh. Yes.
Hopefully, I would have liked to have seen it on Christmas, but didn't work out that way.
Yeah, we got back on.
But
The vampires.
it's like a 2.5 hour
started-
movie.
Randall started talking about AI.
And it, do you know what I loved about Randall being on?
What?
And I was thinking about briefly is just seeing another person who's like seeing the transformative power and just seeing its effect on how them and how they take it, and then just kind of, it helps. I don't need to talk about it as much anymore, just because you get to see other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
He gets to. And again, it's cool.
Like just another, voice.
In his own perspective and his take on it.
He really enjoys it, and like where it's like, because Randall knows, Randall's hung out with all of us too, and everything else, and so it's like he sits there and watches it.
He's a smart
and
guy,
he has a different, and he has a perspective too, where it's like, hey, I'm not necessarily there hanging out with him, but it's like this, just like what it would be like sitting there hanging out with him.
Yeah, that was so cool. That was really cool. I feel like that's the most I probably sat down and talked to him since his bachelor party or something.
I know that like there's times that I'll call my sister up, and be like, "What are
Can
you
I talk
doing?"
to
And it's
Randall?
like, "Oh, we're just watching."
What's Randall doing? Hey. Hey, Randall.
But
Is it cool if I come in
no,
over
just him
tonight?
being like,
Is it okay?
or
See,
she'll
Mikey,
be
it's all about
like,
what
"Hey,
you
we're
do with
just
the
watching
microphone. It's gotta get
podcast."
close sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
But yeah, Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Stephanie told you how she got Nosferatu catfished from that streamer site.
Oh yeah. She thought it
And
was
halfway
the
through,
real
she was
one,
like,
or
it
the
actually
old-
was the
new
original
one.
Nosferatu,
from
which
like
is
1923.
it's literally like
It's like one of the first
silent, like no
movies.
talking in it.
Yeah.
I just
it's
thought
from
like, man, freaking
22.
Robert Eggers is really committing to the bit. But it's like, she told me, she's like, I was actually original. I'm like, okay, I didn't think there was a bootleg that good out.
2 years old.
Yeah, it's funny. It's
No, we did a.
but I
Mikey
can't
did
wait
back.
to see it. Like
Yeah.
I'm excited. I think it's gonna be a great movie. I mean,
No,
haven't
I've read
even seen
I've
a
read great
preview.
things. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know where I would see a preview outside of intentionally watching the trailer.
No,
honestly.
have
know,
y'all seen the
that's-
preview?
No.
No,
Look it up. Put it up. I mean, it's amazing.
it's like
I think it.
definitely one of those things that's
I think it's.
crazy about the modern world, where it's like
Wait, the modern world.
you think about like when we were teenagers and stuff like that. It was like you'd see previews for fucking 6 months before the movie came out,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a whole different
know.
landscape.
and where it's like now this movie that like you actually really want to see, and it's like it's almost nice actually not knowing anything about it.
Yeah, no, I
into
agree.
it, you
It
know.
almost makes like I'm watching it because I should, but it's cool that I literally haven't. But I
But
know a
the
lot
thing
about it. I've been following the
thing about
director.
it, too,
We've
is-
talked about him, a lot. Some of his films I really like the way he does it, so I know his attention to detail, environment, So I'm excited. So let's see.
Well, when we were
Videos.
teenagers too, they'd show 100 different previews, so you would see so many different scenes from the movie.
Yeah.
And it's like just watching.
Come
it.
to me. Come to me. I've never shared my secret with any soul.
You've had these spells since childhood. Tell me what you can from the beginning.
It is like a dream. It was our wedding.
It's Johnny Depp's daughter,
Is it?
When we
Yep.
turned around,
Rose Lily Depp.
everyone was dead. The stench of their bodies was horrible. Standing before me was death. But I'd never been so happy.
This creature is a force more powerful than evil.
Its desire is to consume all life on Earth.
Only you can redeem us. He is coming.
There is a devil in this world, and I have met him.
But you could never please me as he could.
I think I might have an Nosferatu.
I'm ready.
Got her
You see
levitating.
the shadow.
Got her levitating.
It's like,
Yeah,
wait, this is just like the Little Mermaid.
That was a pretty cool trailer, man.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. I can't wait. Just because.
I did. It's funny that popped up. I actually watched that Conclave.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
with
quite
dude
good.
from. Yeah, that dude's a great actor.
Did you watch Conclave?
No, I haven't. I watched The Menu.
Yeah, Ralph Fiennes.
Tyler's bullshit.
The English Patient. Actually, that was Joseph Fiennes. No, that was Ralph Fiennes. Joseph Fiennes in Shakespeare in Love. Let's see. Yeah, man. Nosferatu.
Well, should we wrap up?
I don't know, Mikey. I want to keep going.
Do you?
I'm just. Should we wrap up?
I don't know.
Hey, I'm in no rush. But if it's time to wrap up, it's time to wrap up. We don't force the situation. Don't force the situation. No, it's actually whenever we get there, that is gonna be my rec. Whenever we get there, but I've probably used that before.
What?
No,
Actually, I have used that before.
not about paper
I feel
towels.
like we need to talk about paper towels.
Well, we kind of
can-
do.
Huh?
We
What-
kind
because
of do briefly.
No, because
Okay.
I've been hearing the fucking paper towel shit being brought up for 2 fucking days, and I don't know what the
I
fuck
can't
is
be
going
too-
on. Because I know Matthew spilled something yesterday, and he came in the kitchen and was like, "I need 1 paper towel." And so I gave it to him, and he was like,
Yeah,
"Oh, it's half
he
a
has
paper
kind of been
towel."
on the outside
He's
of a
like,
conversation,
"Half
not knowing the
paper
depth of
towel." And I
it.
was
So
like,
it is.
"No, that is 1 paper towel that I gave him because we have
Yeah,
the
he-
fucking ones that tear off and half.
It is.
And
It
then
is fair. We
Crane
should let Chris
spilled
know
a
the depth
beer.
of it.
Crane spilled a beer after you left, and we were back there in the bedroom, and he goes out, grabs some paper towels, comes back, cleans his fucking spill up or whatever, and you know how Crane is. So he fucking cleans his spill up, and Mikey's like, "Hey, Crane, out of curiosity, how many paper towels did you use?" And of course, he immediately goes on the defensive. He was like, "Well, it was a big spill, so he was like, I used 2 paper towels. I didn't go get a bunch, you know."
Yeah.
So I don't know what the fuck's
See,
going
the
on.
Mikey,
I
that's the
don't know
beauty.
what
Chris
the
really
fuck
doesn't know what the conversation
with
is
paper
about it.
towels,
So it is funny. So we should
but
talk
I
about
know
it for that
that-
reason.
In the last fucking 24 hours, something's been going on with paper towels, and there's a fucking roll of them
How would we?
right there.
Yes. How would we sum up? How would you?
I just had the thought that was wondering. It's like what's the correct amount of fucking paper towels to use
like
in any given
unwritten rules.
situation? Because anytime I've ever grabbed a fucking paper towel around my mom,
Oh no, yeah.
I grab a fucking paper towel and it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Where you go? What do you?
No,
where are you gonna
seriously.
clean up? And I'm like, well,
It's
this
like
fucking
turning the
happened.
dome light
So
on in the
I was
car.
going to do this, and
Yeah.
it's like I have to get approval to grab a fucking paper towel.
Yeah.
And so everybody I know, I almost anywhere I go, somebody grabs a paper towel. And it's like, well, what are you doing?
Your
And
heart
no matter
skips a
every
beat.
house I'm at, somebody grab. They're like, "How many
Somebody
paper
drags
towels are you
their hands
grabbing?"
with them.
Do you want
And
me? do you want me
so
to tell
I
you
was just
the
like,
deep-
I just had the
depth of it?
hypothetical, and if I could have a second,
Yeah.
I was wondering what the whole reason I brought up paper towels was. What's in whose mind? When is the correct time to grab a paper towel, and how many for said time? Because you can, you can grab a paper towel for something, but then sometimes you grab too many paper towels and the alarm goes off and it's like, well, that's too fucking many. And then you grab a paper towel sometimes and it's like, well, you don't need a paper towel for that job. And it's like,
Get a paper towel.
Like, where's the
What
book?
are you
Where's
doing?
the law book on paper
Like,
towels?
so that was my
We
whole.
missed it. Like, no, seriously.
I can tell you.
Can confirm.
I can tell you. At least what I believe.
Yeah.
So I think the deep rooted psychological. I think it's paper towels are a good representation of how a progressive civilization can easily become wasteful and not realize it.
Mm-hmm.
To where
That's a good point.
to where it's in one of the easiest things, that tissue thing. It's a disposable thing that's very cheap, but it's people consider it so cheap that it's basically free. People use it as though it's free. They use it in some people do in liberal amounts as though it costs nothing, but in reality there is some amount of cost, and depending on how much your income and all that stuff, if you're going through, and I can feel the weight of living in a household and having a family and daughters, to where it's like I'll notice when paper towels are going through quick. I'm like, how did we already run out of roll of paper towels? And once I've gone, you know how much the paper towel, like, you get really cheap shit. You might spend a couple bucks, but it's low, and it could be you spend $3 or $4 on a decent roll of paper towels, and then you just, so it's literally, it's like, so I think that's like the weight is because it is really, it's like it being wasteful, but then it's almost like, okay, so what are the rules? So I think if there's cleaning, so if there's a spill that's not obviously needing a towel, like there's a spill automatic, it's like, okay, shit, I can get a whole roll of paper towels, or I might need an actual towel. But if there's like a immediate spill, and I feel like it might be situational if you have company or guests over, you don't want to be stingy with your paper towels, right?
No, yeah.
But then if you're the family, you're gonna just be whatever. But the guest, take the whole roll. You know what I mean? That, and then what's the other one? I think certain cleaning scenarios, like intentional cleaning, in certain, obviously if you have a smart person is gonna use rags and other things. A smart person like me, I have a food. I keep a rag.
like,
I have a
I'll use
pizza rag. I have a rag I keep because I don't use.
Right now,
I don't use paper
actually
towels.
dusted
I keep a
with
towel.
this
That's
shirt
just me,
earlier.
and because I don't need to waste paper towels to wipe my hands and stuff. You saw the hygiene video.
Yeah.
You know, but one of my main uses for, and I was texting you earlier before you got here, I sent you a picture, is I use paper towels as a fine layer for hot foods on plastic that I know will cause condensation to actually make, like, pizza. I've noticed I put it on those plastic trays. If I don't put a paper towel, there's like some kind of
It'll make the
condensation and
pizza
actually
get
get
soggy.
soft. So I
It'll
wanted
make
to
the
stay
pizza
crisp,
get
so I
soggy.
use it as a layer to
pretty smart.
maintain the crispiness for anything hot, not just pizza. Anything hot on a certain surface, I use as a fine layer.
So it doesn't.
So that's the way. That's
Transfer
honestly my
the
number one use of
condensation.
paper towels. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody has a science behind it and a usage for it and a time and a place, but I just always thought it was curious, and it's like they're the most protected commodity in any home.
Your mom was like, "Where are you going with those?"
Towel.
No, it
Where are you
wasn't
going with
just-
those?
It wasn't just mama.
It's
It was grandma. It was
There's
Debbie.
the depression
It was
era
like-
mindset. No, I'm just.
Well, no,
it's not that.
it
I just
really
like
was,
blanket
though.
call
Yeah.
it that. You know. What's
But it
good
was
though, because
funny-
we are wasteful.
No,
Yeah.
but he's right though too. Was because it's like you would walk in there and you would go to get a paper towel for something. It'd be like, "Hey, what the fuck?" Are
And
you
the
doing?"
kid.
But then you'd look around the kitchen and there'd be 7 fucking paper towels laid out, like, one like folded over with a single fucking spoon on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's the whole
And
thing of
there's
kids.
one-
Kids
there's
doing
one
it is
sitting
different than adults
with
doing
a-
it,
with a
right?
cup on
Yeah.
it. And then it's like, where are you going with that paper
And
towel?
that's the
And it's
parent-kid
like,
dynamic
what is-
at
Why
play
can't
What is
I
too.
use it?
what is it
Yeah.
we're missing about these paper towels? But
The
like,
parent-kid
it's
dynamic.
funny.
I'm gonna tell my daughter's not even. She's not gonna be allowed to touch them.
Well, but
Yeah.
She's gonna have her own little rag every day.
Yeah.
She's gonna have a rag for the day of the week, and that'll be her drying whatever.
I've
And I
literally
don't tell
carried
Stephanie though.
that into
I'm like,
adulthood.
you can't tell mom about this system,
Yeah.
honey.
Do, like, it's like I do use paper towels a little bit more liberally now.
Yeah,
I
than you
did
used
when
to.
I was younger.
It's
But
a good
even
gauge on your
still,
character is your
one
use of
those
paper
things- yeah,
towels.
it's like the shopping cart test. Where
Yeah.
you talk about that's like the best test of who a person is because
they
it doesn't,
return
it
the
doesn't-
cart?
It costs you nothing to return it, and it's like you could just leave it.
I hope you guys return your carts.
What?
Shopping carts to at least to the
Oh
bin.
yeah. I don't even if I use them, like I don't typically.
I mean,
don't
if
use
I'm
them.
not taking it home in the
When
back of
I
a truck,
was-
then I'm returning it to
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
Tip-
it's like
exactly.
generally the only time that I don't return the shopping cart is when I need it to live out of. But once I'm done living out of it, I will take it back to
Yeah.
the location that I had retrieved it from.
That pug's trying
And
to tell you
I will
something.
leave them a small, like a rental fee. It's like
Yeah.
$250,
You just
$300. What's a shopping cart
There's a
worth?
whole shopping
What's
cart
a
black
shopping
market.
cart worth? To
Walmart,
live out of
it's
for
written
3
off.
months?
The homeless man, that's his kingdom.
Bro, that's
Yeah, I mean, shopping carts have
how many square feet is that?
have value.
What is that worth in New York City?
It's real. It's
Shit.
Bro,
real value.
there's
That's actually pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People were like living on sidewalks, like building houses in California,
Yep.
Yeah.
stuff like that. Homeless people.
Yeah, dude.
it's fucking nuts. Out of tarps,
They're-
boxes.
Makes no sense to me.
Homeless where the park is. I
They're
could
like,
never,
you could sell those for good money.
Trump said, or Gillis
What?
talking about it, he was like, the homeless, so many homeless.
Oh
I could never live like that, living in tents.
Shane Gillis is Trump. He has a great Trump.
Dude, we need to. There's
Oh,
the little
man.
tent cities. It's so crazy. There's one that's not far from here too. There's a
Like-
little
they're
tent.
Like
well,
Yeah.
Hooverville.
There's like big. Like, there's tent
the
city, but then there's
the
a.
biggest one that I haven't been by there in a while.
We should
They
really
used
walk
to
through
kick 'em
one.
off. No, you shouldn't.
No,
I
we
was gonna
shouldn't.
say I don't want to.
Well, only in a group.
No,
I agree. I agree. We shouldn't. But
Even in a
man,
group.
maybe
No,
send a
but,
drone over. Just get
right,
some footage.
That is actually a lot of fun. That's a whole subgenre.
Well, there you go.
Of people like teasing junkies with drones because
Yeah.
drones always junkies always think the feds are watching them, and
They think that they're up
always,
to-
they're
yeah.
always extremely paranoid.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh
like,
gosh, dude, that's such a
bro,
perfect
no,
feeding ground
there's,
for just
no, you
fucking with people.
Yeah, you just didn't realize
Sorry.
that it's already a whole thing.
Oh, dude, yeah, it's
Like,
crazy.
Yeah, I
there's-
shouldn't be
There's
surprised.
some of the videos of it. But
Anything you can do with the
no,
drone, I bet there's some pretty funny stuff.
One of the biggest spots that they're at, like in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, is right there off of Ferguson and 635, right
Yep.
behind those apartments.
Yes, yeah,
Where I
yeah,
saw my first dead buddy.
yes, yeah.
And
Right,
They
like
kicked
2 minutes
them
away.
out. They kicked them out. They bulldozed a bunch of the trees. They put up fences and
can't-
stuff like that. And
It's a
it'll
terrible
keep 'em
analogy,
out.
but they're like cockroaches.
No, they really will. It'll keep them out for a little while, and then they'll just come back with like
In
better
force.
camouflage. It's like them trying to drive out the MVA and the Viet Cong in
Yeah.
Vietnam, like through deforestation. Because used to you would drive past it, and there was a big grove of trees
Yeah.
between the highway and those apartments. Now there's not shit. It's just a giant open field
Yes.
with a couple of sparse trees. Back in the day when it was all those trees,
The homeless
they
people are like,
would
we wanted
set
to
up-
tear this shit down. They did it for us.
Bro, it looked like fucking Trader's Village back there. If you were stuck in traffic and could actually like had time to look back in there, they had a whole fucking town set up in that grove of trees. Now they've knocked down so much and then put up fencing.
I almost
and stuff,
think
but they
that
still keep
could be
moving in.
intentional. Thinking of like the Wire season where they're like New Amsterdam, where they decriminalized
Oh, yeah.
shit to a level, so they let them do that, but just to at least contain all that shit to an area. To where it's like if we have homeless people, if we can at least have all of them concentrated versus dispersed throughout the city.
Well, definitely every.
It's almost like
everything
I could
around,
see that
like,
being like
635,
almost
Yeah.
intentional.
like 635 from not quite La Prada, because La Prada is like right when you're getting in Mesquite, and Mesquite
Yeah.
ain't gonna have that shit. For
Yeah.
Shit.
No.
Which
Yeah.
is funny because it's like it is kind of right there on
That
the
makes
border
sense.
of
It's on the border of
Dallas-
cities.
Dallas, Garland, Mesquite.
It's literally on the
all those.
outskirts of them, to where it's
You're-
pushed the problem out to the
You've
borders.
You've kept it.
But happens to be between.
Dallas County.
That's interesting.
Because it doesn't.
That's
push into
why-
Garland,
that's why
it
it-
doesn't push into Mesquite.
That's why
It
we
does a
we
little
figured
bit.
it out.
No, yeah, it's always. This has always been like a.
But
weird
why
part
it's
of
that
town
area? It's
it-
because of the city, those boundaries, and both of them.
It's
It's almost like
always-
pushing the problems to where it skirts on either side to where.
Yeah, dude.
That's interesting. I think we just figured something out.
A little kid.
I think we just figured
living
something out.
over here was like it was.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like that then too.
Yeah, shit was the Wild West.
It was. It was. Seriously.
Yeah.
So what? We found a body behind those fucking apartments.
Yeah,
Riding
that's
our bikes
insane.
with like Shane and Ray on
I remember
some,
you saying that. Yeah.
on some, what was it, Boys in the Hood shit or
You wanna
whatever.
see a
Which
dead
one was
body?
that? You won't see a dead body, but it wasn't. We were just out
Yeah.
riding our bikes like down through
That's so
fucking ditches
ridiculous.
and stuff, and it's right over. I could take.
Yeah, no,
because
dude.
Later that night, we drove past. We were going to dinner
Yeah.
later that night, and I guess somebody had discovered it, called it in, whatever, because we drove through there and they had a, it was
Yeah.
a whole big,
It's
lights
like that was
and
how many hours
everything.
later? A whole day?
A few hours.
Yeah.
Like we had been out riding
Midday
earlier
to
in the
evening.
day.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you wonder how
Somehow
fresh
it
that
got
body was
discovered.
that whenever it had.
Yeah.
It still probably was
As a
like it'd been a little
kid-
while. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a kid,
Like
I don't. Yeah.
maybe an OD or something. Who knows? Who knows? Honestly, he might have got. Yeah. Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah.
yeah, riding past there and then like our parents being like, I wonder what happened there. It's
Like,
I don't know.
Oh, who knows? Was
But-
there an accident, mommy?
Yeah.
It's like, who knows? Yeah, that's an interesting.
knows?
Yeah, that would have been some
literally-
trippy shit to see
Be careful where your kids go. They might see a dead body.
in a ditch.
Well,
Don't
and-
ride bikes in ditches.
We
Just don't
live
touch
in
it. Don't
we
get too close.
We don't live in a proper country anymore because the country I grew up in, you could go ride your bicycle until the street lights came on, maybe run across a dead body.
That's the
And
America
then,
I want for my
and then
children.
Go back home and eat dinner. What'd you do?
That's the American dream.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's like, this is what I did
The
tonight.
strong survive.
Yep.
Well,
Be seeing you.
be saying it.
Well, the last episode of our podcast ever.
Recommendation of the week.
Is that
I would say don't force situation, but I'm almost positive I've used that before.
I will say make yourself a BLT.
I won't
pretty
do
good?
that. Actually, baconless tomato.
It has mayo on it.
I mean, if I stuck literally to just
Okay,
the
time out.
description,
Here's the thing. Make yourself time out. Here's a new recommendation.
refine
new
this rec.
recommendation.
Refined rec. Iteration. Just the iteration
Attempt to make your favorite takeout meal at home. So if you were to normally go to
That's what I
Chipotle
like.
or you were to go somewhere else, attempt to recreate that meal at home.
Beautiful.
He did that today.
So then that way you're no longer, that way you don't have to go spend as much
And
money.
you realize that you can
I
actually
can
make
do
it
it.
better.
Yes.
But then you also realize you're paying for not having to do it.
Yes.
Whenever it's great, but if the time you can't do it every day, unless
No.
you just but it's cool.
Like you with your pizzas and your fried chicken.
For a while
and-
there, I was doing it every day with cheese sticks though.
Yeah, and that was your
Refried,
cheese sticks are good. You've got
When
good
I was
at it.
making them, no.
You got your
French
cheese.
fries.
Your cheese sticks are better than like cheese sticks I get when I go places. So
Oh, thank you.
you have
That's
them.
the goal.
You have it refined. You're like, thank you. I've used the same grease for 7 years.
It's important. It's probably the most important aspect of it.
Oh, I bet.
That grease.
Yeah, you're
You-
like.
He's use peanut oil. You
Kinda
might
like
use
your
vegetable oil,
salsa.
canola oil. Peanut oil is my favorite. It burns cleaner in my mind.
Peanut.
Peanut oil. So
Don't
it costs a
worry,
little more.
Peanut. I won't put you
But
through
peanut
that
oil.
again.
I'm serious. Peanut oil.
Okay.
That's the way to do it.
So if you're gonna deep fry you some cheese sticks, use peanut oil or anything.
Shout out
Anything,
George
yeah.
Washington
And it
Carver.
didn't stink as much either.
Nice. Nice.
I know just because I've used them all.
Nice.
And my
My rec.
Yeah. What's your rec?
Have a happy fucking New Year.
Have a happy New Year. Fucking one. Have a
Did I
happy
steal
Good,
yours?
Chris.
New Year.
You
Did I
piggybacked
steal
yourself. No, you
Yeah, I
didn't.
piggybacked mine from last
I guess.
week.
Yeah. I guess that's allowed. I don't even know what to call that.
Yeah. Jail. That's jail time. Straight to jail.
Straight to jail. He's like in my country.
Let's see. My recommendation:
Kiss a pug.
No,
gift somebody.
A dog.
No, not. I almost want to say some about meme coin shit, but it's man. That's what I said for don't for situation. Like there's super risky ways to make money, but it's really because the whole thing we're talking about. There's a sucker born every minute and every second.
PT Barnum.
shout out PT Barnum.
However you want to put it, yeah.
That's his quote.
Do your best
Or
not to be that
whatever.
sucker.
Yeah.
There you go. Don't be the sucker.
No.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess my
that's the
real way
recommendation.
was like I said, Happy New Year. No, do your best to just try to be present all the time. It's like I know I suck at that. I'm not always there. You know, it's like
Yeah.
even when you're there, your brain. Has
That's
a
the beauty
tendency
of what
to
we're
be
doing now is
1,000 different places.
right now we're hopefully
And-
mostly here, even though
Yes.
each of us maybe X%, but this is like for me, it's an exercise in being present.
Yeah.
Yeah, do your
This whole
best
thing,
to-
this podcast,
Oh,
is a way
absolutely.
to actually be present.
Yeah.
you know, and it's like, yeah, I know that that's an issue for me. It's
And that's
like-
why I'm glad you've been here the last 2 weeks, because
Yeah,
I know,
try.
because it's good for you. It's good for you.
And,
It's good for you.
probably.
All right, well,
Well,
Be
Hey,
safe.
saying you.
Saying you.
in hell.